Are you still wearing your wristband?
I went to sleep. At 2 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m.
He's like a spring breaker coming back from
for
senior
2 hours.
15-year-old going to
What
Lala.
a loser!
What the like? What? All right. What am I gonna do? Like, go? I don't have a pair of scissors. I
You rip
literally
it off
woke
like a
up.
man.
Yeah.
I woke up, ran to like I woke up my wake up call. I slept through for 40 minutes. I had to sprint to the airport, sprint to my gate, drive, sit in traffic for 2 hours, and just basically walk in the studio. Yeah, I'm still wearing my wristband.
Are you just attached to the memories that go along with the wristband?
You gotta keep it on.
It was a great night. It was a great night.
You'll feel happy.
Yeah. All right. Back to it. Sorry, I was just shocked that. Yeah. On today's Pardon My Take, we have a twofer for the people. We have two-time NBA champ Mike Miller in studio. Awesome interview with him. Really fun to talk to him. We also have our good friend Randy Moss to talk about the Preakness, try to fix horse racing, and a bonus guest, Sandman from the barn. Randy is the best. We got a lot of sports to talk about. The Caps got bounced. Hank saved the Celtics season and had a showdown with Timothee Chalamet. Denver forces a Game 7. We have the NFL schedule release. New stuff about Caleb Williams before the draft. And then we'll finish with Fyre Fest, as always, on Friday. And we're brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. The eyes of the horse racing world are on Baltimore this weekend. The race is on. But who will rise above the rest and be crowned king of the track? Find out on DK Horse, the #1 downloaded horse betting app. DraftKings is turning up the thrill with the King of the Track promotion. Here's how to get in. Head to the DK Horse app, opt in, and bet $5 or more on a horse to win the stakes. If your pick crosses the finish line first, you'll win a share of $150,000 prize pool. Randy's going to give us some picks, so make sure you listen. He's got some great picks for the Preakness and the Black Eyed Susan on Friday. So who will reign supreme? Download the DK Horse Racing app. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE on DK Horse. Bet $5 or more on a horse to win the stakes for your shot at a piece of $150,000 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by DraftKings. Who will reign supreme? Download the DK Horse Racing app and use code TAKE. That's code TAKE on DK Horse. Bet $5 or more on a horse to win the stakes for your shot at a piece of $150,000 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Today is Friday, May 16th. And PFT, we are no longer agape. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm all closed off emotionally, physically, spiritually. I left my sunglasses on the flight to Washington, D.C., and I felt like I was just out of rhythm from that point on. Just nothing clicked into place. But the good thing about this game, and there are some positives I took away from this game, in terms of perspective. I got to watch a hockey game with my mom. She had an absolute blast. She kept looking at me being like, son, this is so fun. I can't believe we're doing this. This is the best Mother's Day ever. Thank
Mother's
you so
Week.
much.
Yeah, bigger than sports.
Well, Mother's Day it was bigger than sports, and she was just like, we love spending time with each other. And so, even though it was a tough loss, I think it really showed me that
That's
some things
beautiful.
truly are bigger than sports. And she kept saying, "Son, it could be worse."
She calls you son.
Yeah. Son, it could be a lot worse. I'm so glad we're not Maple Leafs fans because that's embarrassing. And at least we won the Stanley Cup in 2018. She kept saying, "Son, the WNBA starts this weekend, and I wouldn't want the series to continue and take away the shine from WNBA opening weekend."
Facts.
She just kept saying, "Son, I love you. This is just a magical Mother's Day, the best Mother's Day ever." So it was fun being on the glass with her. We are rookies on the glass, though. I brought her like this big meal from one of the restaurants that they have in the concourse, and a couple drinks. Brought it down to the front row. First thing I did, put the drinks on the shelf next to the glass. I thought it would be okay. And then I think it was Van Riemsdyk. I think he checked somebody right into the glass, right in front of us. Her bourbon goes flying everywhere. My beer goes flying everywhere. But you know what? It was just one of those moments. It's memory that we made together. So
she like, son, it's okay. We're both wet.
Yeah, son, thank you for buying me that bourbon, even though it's all over your lap right now. So it was really a bonding experience more than no, it sucks. Listen, it sucks. I thought that the season was going to be, it wasn't bad. It was a special season. Like nobody thought or expected anything from the Capitals, but I did expect us to go a little bit further in the playoffs. So that part's disappointing, and I gotta call it as I see it. Ovi did not look well on the ice tonight. He looked pretty slow, not really moving around that well. There was one point, and you can't quote me on this, but I did lean over to Nate and I said, I almost think that he shouldn't even be on the power play right now because he wasn't. He did not look like he was moving around like the Ovi that we saw in the regular season. Now he is like 40 years old. And he has played a long season. And he did break his leg this season, but it looked kind of like a different guy. And so I hope he'll take this offseason, rest up, and come back next year because I thought that we had a team that could really do something special this postseason. So it's tough for me to get over, but hey, that's part of sports.
Yeah, that's part of sports. It sucks too that like the Hurricanes were just they basically were a boa constrictor on you guys this series. Like I think what would you score 7 goals? Like it wasn't even a fun series from the Capitals' perspective because the Hurricanes just like choked you to death.
They do a great job of just destroying any sort of rhythm you have once you get in the attacking zone.
Yeah, they're a good team.
You don't really possess the puck there. It's hard to get the ball through the neutral zone. That's the main thing that all the hockey guys are saying. And yeah, once they get an offense, they do a good job getting into their rhythm. So they're a really, really good team. But at least we're not the Leafs. That was my bit. I didn't think about that until my mom said it, but she makes some really good points. Yeah.
The Leafs, if you were up 2-0 in the series and about to lose in 6 games, that would be devastating.
And if we hadn't gotten the Stanley Cup in 2018.
Right.
That's what she kept saying to me was, I remember, at least we got that Stanley Cup.
I got 2 questions for you, PFT. The first is, how quickly did they show the offsides? I think it was the first period on like the Jumbotron, because that was heartbreaking. I bet the Caps in solidarity, and I was like so pumped when they scored, and then the minute they go to the replay, you're just like, fuck, because it was so cut and dry.
Well, what they did was they didn't even put the goal on the board. So they waited, and then I was like, wait, why isn't that goal showing up on the board? They should show it on the board. And then the ref skates out to center ice. He goes, the call is being challenged. And then after they announced that it was being challenged, then they put like the sad goal up for about 30 seconds. Because it was the fastest challenge of all time.
I know, it was so obvious. It sucked.
The ref picked up the phone. They didn't show the replay a single time in the stadium. That's when I knew that it must have been pretty bad.
Yeah. And then a side question, that you did say going into this series and going into the playoffs that goaltending was an issue. That last goal for the Hurricanes was an issue.
It was pretty soft. That was
bad.
Soft. But also, Thompson played pretty well tonight besides that. That's like besides that, Miss Lincoln, how was the play? You know, but it was a decent night for him in the first couple periods. He made some great saves, but that was a soft ass goal. And you know me, I don't tolerate soft ass goals.
No, you never have, and neither did your mom. Your mom probably went to you, son. That's a soft ass goal. We were raised better.
She said, son, from that angle, as an NHL goalie, you should never let that in.
All right, my last question is, and this is the painful one, how much blame do we put on a Gape?
I mean, you know exactly. I handled a Gape the only way that I knew how to handle
you did,
a Gape.
but it was.
And you would handle it the same
way.
No,
I'm not saying you. I'm saying I'm not saying you. I'm just saying that felt like the moment that was like, oh no. And also, I was alerted to something which I'm sure you knew, but someone commented because I was getting a Gape tonight. I was trying to get a Gape.
Yeah,
I was tweeting about the game.
Hitting some nitrous.
Someone commented under one of my tweets that there's a certain person who has an Agape tattoo on their arm.
Yes.
Carson Wentz.
Yes.
When I saw that, I was like,
I was hoping that nobody would bring that up on this show. There's certain things that, listen, I will bring up a lot of stuff to make fun of my teams, and I'll try to be vulnerable in front of you guys because that's what we do. I was not willing to introduce Carson Wentz into this conversation.
Right move by you, because when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
no, please no!" I thought it was photoshopped. I had to go to his Instagram to check.
I've never even said it out loud to anybody because I knew I couldn't keep up the whole Gabe bit after I verbalized the fact that Carson Wentz, because that makes it real. That was.
I want you to know, PFT, if the series had still been going on, I would not have mentioned it. I would have also buried it, because that was like it was literally I was basically Kieran Culkin in Succession when his rocket blows up. I looked at it on my phone and I just put my phone back in my pocket and walked away. I was like, I can't do that.
Listen, with the whole Gabe thing, I think I showed that I'm a true Capitals fan by going along with that.
Yes.
And in retrospect, maybe it's not the best idea to hand out towels talking about getting your butthole nice and loose. That doesn't inspire me to,
I would
to
agree.
like, have a lot of confidence in the team. But if that's what we're going, I mean, I wore this shirt tonight. It's a Gabe.
Did you get an extra one for me? I'd get one. I'd wear one.
Yeah, with hearts on it. And then the hand sign again. It's like just big.
No more
loose
Gabe.
buttholes.
More Gabe.
Big loose buttholes do not. It doesn't make you fired up to get violent on the ice.
Yeah, no more Gabe. Hank, is there anything? Oh, you'd like to say something, Hank?
I just have a question.
Sure,
This should be good.
Where'd you get that sick ass hat?
Oh, good question. The people at the Capitals were nice enough. They gave me a nice little grab bag. Shout out Taryn and the rest of the Caps crew. I got some stuff. I got something for your kids, Big Cat.
Oh, love it.
They like Legos, right?
Yes, and it's birthday season.
Okay, I got a little Lego thing. And then that was a stupid question. I was about to ask who here on this podcast likes gravy the most. I was like, maybe Hank. Like, no, okay. So I got Max a gravy boat, the Capital gravy boat.
I've literally, I never eat gravy. I don't
What are you
even eat it
talking
on
about? Red
Thanksgiving.
sauce? Red sauce?
It's called sauce. I literally don't eat gravy on Thanksgiving.
It's gravy.
I'm out on gravy.
Well, get ready to learn gravy, buddy.
Yeah.
No, that was bullshit.
Hey, Max.
Big Cat's fat ass probably eats gravy on everything.
I love gravy. I fucking love gravy.
Max, you're gonna love gravy.
It's good to laugh after a loss like that.
It is. Yeah, but I do like this sick ass Capitals hat. I wish I had it for the entire series.
Also, another spin zone, like losses suck in the playoffs, but a loss in game 5 is definitely less painful than a loss in game 7.
I would agree. And I was pretty clear about like, just don't let us win game. If we win game 5, then it's a problem. If we don't win game 5, then I don't think we're going to win the series.
Right. It's like it sucks to lose, but like when you lose and it's somewhat convincing fashion, you're like, well, what are you going to do?
So one other little story, I was I think it was in between the second and third period, and I was hanging out, just waiting for the puck to start again. I get a FaceTime on my phone, and it's Oldie FaceTiming me. And I picked it up, and my mom was like, who's that's FaceTiming you? I was like, I'll tell you the whole Oldie story after we talked to him, because it's a long story. And I opened it up, and Oldie was just shirtless in his living room screaming into his phone, "Let's go, boys. Busy, let's fucking go." and then my mom was like, "Hi, Oldie." And then it was quite the scene.
Yeah. Son, what's a side pocket?
Yeah.
How did Mama Commenter like describe that jersey that you're wearing? Was she like, son?
I taught you right. I taught you well.
She was like, "Son, that's my grail." So,
where'd you get your son? You're getting a fit off.
Yeah. I think she's like, "Son, I'm having to beat the chicks off you. What's going on?" I might leave this behind for her. No, I actually got a shocking amount of compliments on
it's
the
a
jersey.
sick jersey. It's a one of one.
It's also
a
like
one of one. I don't know. Can you describe it for the listeners?
Yeah, it's a half Jaden Daniels, half Alex Ovechkin jersey. It's the J Xander Danvechkin jersey. And it's
also
one of one.
It's a one of one, but it's also like a true one of one because was made for PFT. and like he's the only one who could wear it and be like, damn, that's sick.
Yeah,
Like
shout
that's
out
it. Like no, anyone else
Yeah.
put that on, you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Shout out the AWL that's in. I don't have his name in front of me right now, but I think he probably made it for himself, and he was like, I don't know. There's only one guy that looks dumb enough to pull this off. So shout out to him.
All right. So yeah, the Leafs are in trouble. I don't know. That was the other hockey thing. The Leafs are in a lot of trouble. They're in the don't let us win one, and I don't think they're going to win one.
You can't come out flat at home.
No, they got fucking. Oh, that was bad. In basketball news, the Denver 5-2-8-0s forced a game 7.
Yeah.
So I was very skeptical when I turned on the game and saw the 5-2-8-0s were out there on the court tonight. Not really elimination game jerseys, but it was just the Nuggets bench was just like Jokic was great. Jamal Murray, who actually I think had the flu, was very good. And I know Christian Brown is a starter, but like Julian Strawther, that was you need one of those. You need one of those guys to step up and have that type of game. And he had 15 points and hit like 3 huge threes. I also think that game was basically not won by the Nuggets in the last few minutes of the first half, but kind of lost by the Thunder because the Thunder, it felt like the Thunder were going to take that game, and they were up 9 or 10, and then SGA gets one of the worst, dumbest fouls, and the refs were like, they were all over the place. Guys were just fucking beating on each other. But he like a frustration foul on Jokic where he got the ball stolen and then 60 feet from the basket just like smacked him. Got his 4th foul, had to sit for the last 2 minutes. And outside, Lou Dort hit a buzzer beater, but the Nuggets came all the way back, tied the game, and it felt like all the momentum switched because it was like Thunder are here and they're going to win this game. And then the second half was more Nuggets, and I'm happy for a game 7. I wanted a game 7 in this series.
Yeah, very much. This has been a great series, so I can't wait for that. I got to listen to the second half call on the radio, on the Denver radio broadcast, and they just kept screaming out, Strawther. Like they couldn't believe it that he was hitting all these shots. So, yeah, I mean, that's the key for Denver. If they can have Murray contribute, and then they need one X-Factor guy. And that X-Factor can be 5-2-8-0. It could be the altitude. It
could be, yeah. And it was, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. didn't play at the end of the game. They were just like, we're going to ride with Strawther. It was it was basically in hand. The only thing that had it like, ooh, this could get close was Alex Caruso for like probably 90 seconds, almost like created a comeback by himself where he picked, I think, Jamal Murray's pocket, then Jokic's pocket on back-to-back plays, and then had like a rebound and did another thing where it's just like he's just not giving up. But I'm excited for game 7. I don't know. I was listening to the post game. Kendrick Perkins said that he gives the Nuggets a 40% chance of winning game 7, but he has the Thunder by 10.
I'm trying to do the math.
So I don't know.
What are the implied odds?
I don't know. But he was like, yeah, I give him a 40% chance, but I have the Thunder by 10.
I feel like there's a great opportunity to middle that.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Sometimes what I love about Kendrick Perkins though is sometimes he just says stuff.
Yo, all the time.
Right? Exclusively just says stuff.
Yeah, all the time. He's
the number one stuff sayer in NBA media right now.
He does not think he just shoots. He moves on.
He's the Michael
Every
Scott.
Day's a new day.
He starts a sentence and doesn't know where it's going to land.
Yeah, what he does is he just starts talking, and if he starts to lose his train of thought, he just throws the word "damn" in there.
Yeah,
and then he picks up. It like gets him going. So the Nuggets have a 40% damn chance of winning this game. I like the Thunder by 10 damn points.
But he's got him.
Carry the hell on.
10 points. Let's do a little.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine to say.
What?
Like sometimes you can have the take of like, I think this game's either going to go like this team's going to win easily, no chance, or the underdog is going to win outright. Like people have had that take before.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but a 40% chance, you'd think it would be a little bit.
Yeah,
closer
40% would be. Yeah,
it'd be like a 5-point game. I can't do math. The whose line is it anyway? You guys want to guess it?
I think it's Thunder by 6.5,
4.5,
7.5.
Whoa.
So Perk was closer than Hank. Should we do first baskets? We got to do first baskets for Celtics Knicks on Friday night, which we're going to get when we're back in studio. We're going to talk all about Hank's time on the wood. He's got a new rival in Timothee Chalamet. DraftKings Sportsbook official sports betting.
We're like, you know,
What?
we're boys, but it's like we're just kind of at this moment rivals.
What do you mean?
Frenemies.
You're rivals. I put in the title. Oh no, I put Hank saves the Celtics, and now he's got a new rivalry with Timothee Chalamet. Do you know about that?
No, that's all right. No, it's fine.
No, I'm going to change it. All right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is giving you a chance to boost your winnings every single game during the playoffs. That's right. Every game, all playoffs long, DraftKings is rolling out a special NBA profit boost. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TAKE to claim your profit boost. That's right. Code TAKE gets you a boost for every single NBA playoff game. Don't miss your shot at big wins. This is the moment you've been waiting for, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right, boys. What do we got?
Give me Luke Cornett plus 750.
I'll go Derek White plus 650.
Okay. I'm gonna go Jalen Brunson.
That's plus
Jalen
450.
Brunson, plus 450.
I'm gonna go Cat plus 600.
Ooh, okay. Foul.
Jalen Brunson.
Should we talk about this Seth Wickersham article that came out real quick? So there's a new book, Seth Wickersham, who's a very good author. Maybe we'll have him on. American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. Obviously it was, he's selling a book, so there's got to be some salacious things to get people talking about it. And the big one was that Caleb Williams did not want to be a Chicago Bear, which I think most people his dad especially didn't want to be a Chicago Bear. Most people, that story was out there. I chose to ignore it. It turns out it was true. I took my takeaway from the whole article, not just the tweet, was I was wrong for thinking that Caleb Williams always wanted to be a Bear, but I was right that Caleb Williams is the guy because he knew better than anyone that Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus were fucking morons. Like, he has good judgment.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, Shane Waldron's an idiot. He said that before. And shout out Ryan Poles, because the story goes, he met with Kevin O'Connell at the Combine, was like, I want to be a Viking. I don't blame him for that. Kevin O'Connell's a fucking unbelievable coach, especially with QBs. He then went to Hallis Hall. Ryan Poles was like, hey, we're going to draft you. And then he changed his tune. Was like, you know what? I can fix this. And then the story goes that in his rookie year, the coaching staff was basically AWOL, and he was watching film by himself. And I knew they failed him. I didn't realize to what extent. It's pretty shocking. So listen, past is the past. Ben Johnson is the future. It's all good.
Okay. I like that. And I think that's the right take, which is like what you had last year is nothing close to what he has right now. I want to know how true that is, that he wasn't given any instruction whatsoever about how to watch film. Because that quote, I think, if I remember the article correct, I think that quote came from maybe someone close to Caleb. I don't think that was a direct quote from Caleb. It was somebody else that was like quoting Caleb to Seth. I could be wrong about that. But if that's the case, and it feels like his dad is like saying things secondhand.
Oh, no. So, no, this is actually a direct quote. It says, at times, Williams said he would watch film alone with no instruction or guidance from the coaches. No one tells me what to watch. Caleb Williams told his dad, I just turn it on. So maybe his dad said that to Seth Wickersham.
Yeah, so it's a quote from his dad that he's imparting from Caleb, like through a media. I don't know how true that is, because I feel like no matter how shitty of a coach you are in the NFL, you probably tell your rookie quarterback what to watch on film.
I think there's been like reporting of it, is that like the coaching staff kind of went AWOL towards the end there before the firing. They were just kind of like, we're cooked. Also, like, I know that it obviously looks bad. The headline, Caleb Williams and his dad weren't wrong. Like, the Bears have historically been bad for quarterbacks. Like, they weren't wrong. You can't be like, oh my God, how could they say that? they weren't wrong, and especially with the coaching staff. Now, I think now it's changed because Ben Johnson is here, and I've apologized many times for saying it was a great situation that Caleb Williams walked into. That was a very bad, stupid thing I said all summer long last summer. Really, really dumb shit for brains. But yeah, like I read the article because obviously I saw the tweet and I was like, oh, fuck. And then I read the article and I was like, I don't really know outside of his dad, like being like, we're going to go to the UFL, which I didn't realize. Like there wasn't anything that was like, oh man, how could they say this? You know what I mean? Like
that was just also kind of a bargaining play. I think he was looking for any way possible to maximize Caleb's value as a quarterback. And that included the fact that he was not happy with the fact that Caleb would potentially be tied to a team for like 8 years.
Right.
At least 5.
He's a dad fighting for his kid. I also watched an interview that Seth Wickersham did this afternoon with Adam Hogue, who's a beat reporter for the Bears. And I think Seth Wickersham's exact quote, because they were like, how close was this actually to happening of him being like, we're not going to the Bears. He said the gasoline was out, but they never took out the matches. So it's like, I think a lot of the Coward stuff, like Coward was reporting directly from his dad. I think it was that, like, just, floating it out there, but never actually going that extra step to being like, no, we're not coming to Chicago.
You know what made me suspicious was when that article came out last year that was Caleb Williams saying, I really like Chicago. Like, I want to be a Bear. That felt like it was something that at the time, and especially now looking back on it, was done because they had run out of options.
Right.
And all the stuff where they're trying to see if there's any way that they can make a Manning move. After all those options were exhausted, then they're like, okay, now we'll just kind of clear the air in Chicago, be like, hey, let's do a story about how much I want to be a Chicago Bear now.
Right. And it does look like from the reading of the article that Ryan Poles did a really good job of like kind of convincing him, because the story goes that he went to Hallis Hall and came out of that meeting with Ryan Poles being like, I can do this. Like I can fix this. And again, he's right that Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron are bad. Like that's really also good. That's like a really good sense of judgment of people.
Yeah. He also, I mean, I don't know if we can say this, but when I talked to him at training camp last year, he's like, the Commanders, they've been a team that I didn't really want to go to at all because of their ownership.
Right.
When Dan Snyder was owning. So like, if he's talking about two franchises that historically have not done well in this situation, those would be two good ones. And it's if you were to ask him right now, or any young quarterback right now coming into the NFL, would you want to play for the Bears in the situation that they have now? I think every quarterback would say yes. Yeah. I think they'd say, I want to play with Ben Johnson because of what he's been able to accomplish and how creative he is. I feel like if you're asking truthfully right now, he does want to be in that situation.
And that was the biggest thing. Like I had to accept it, but I definitely wanted Eberflus fired. I wanted Harbaugh very, very badly. That I think would have changed everything. I think a lot of people thought that. And then the Bears obviously were like, we're not going to fire him. We're going to keep going with this, which was stupid, very stupid in retrospect. And that's probably comes from George McCaskey, who is not I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame of owners of professional sports teams.
That would have been wild though if he was a battle hawk.
Yeah.
If he actually went the UFL route, that would have been great. We tried to get Joe Burrow to do that for the XFL. He said I think he wanted 50 million guaranteed in his first year. Maybe it was 100 million, I forget. And I said, deal. Let me talk to the people at the XFL and see if they agree with that. And then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. But yeah, it's like bad shit happened, new stuff. We got new stuff. If Eberflus was still the coach and this came out, it would be panic level a billion. Yeah. Right? Like that's just not the situation anymore. All right. Before we kick it to ourselves, we forgot to mention this during Fyre Fest, so we should say it now. Max, you are paying up your payment this weekend.
Yep. Going to the Bachelor Party with a group of AWLs. I'm looking forward to it. Hank picked it out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it should be a good weekend.
You know exactly what's going on.
Good producing by Hank.
You knew everything that's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know exactly what's going on. I was trying to convince Max last night because we saw the video. The guys seem like good guys. One of them is the wild card. And I was telling Max he's got to out wild card the wild card. So
Yeah.
he's got to order some strippers. He's got to bring a loaded gun, some Russian roulette. Like, just be the wild card, Max.
I'm just going to be a guest at this guy's bachelor party. And
You're going to
I
get
hope
wild
he
carded.
has-
I've seen this so many times. You got to take the wild card to the wild card before he can take it to you.
No, I'm going to allow the wild card to be the wild card. I'm not going to take anyone's role in
once
the
a couple
group.
drinks get inside of you, the wild card comes out. We all
How
know that.
do you describe yourself, Max? If you're writing into your favorite podcast and you're like, yo, you should come on my bachelor party, and everybody in the bachelor party has like a thing that they do. Like one guy is Mr. Mischief, one guy is like bad news. What would you consider yourself?
Just a friendly guy that goes with the flow of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
I'm not loud. I don't try and do too much. I don't try and take too much attention away from anything. I never drink too much. I never do any of that.
go watch the last case race?
Yep.
Are you going to do an
That's
Oklahoma
exactly
drill with
me.
anyone?
No.
Wait,
oh my God, I hope not.
So Jack is going to go and film it, so we will have a vlog of it.
Yeah.
I still think you got to be the wild card. Like you got to fuck, dude. You show up with a loaded gun, literally, and a couple strippers, and maybe some extracurriculars, and people are like, "Holy shit, this guy's a wild card."
I won't be coming with any of those things. I will be a good guest until I have like 7 beers, and then I'm just going to be probably bad news.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there are any strippers that listen to part of my take that live in the Milwaukee area that would like to be in touch with Max this weekend, just in case after those 7 beers hit, if you'd like for Max to have your number, please DM Max.
Or along the same lines,
This weekend is about The Bachelor. That's what we have to remember.
Any gun owners as well.
Yeah.
Nope.
Is
Definitely
Rittenhouse
none of
still
that.
out there? Let's talk to him.
Yeah. Oh, it's about The Bachelor. When's the wedding?
I don't know.
How do you not know? You're going to this guy's bachelor party.
I haven't been in contact with this crew once. It's
Are you
been
bringing
Hank.
present?
Huh?
You got to bring a present.
You got to bring a present for the groom.
Fuck, I probably should bring a present.
Are you looking around your apartment right now to see what you can grab?
How fast, PFT? How fast can you get him that gravy?
I could probably find something good from the office. I'll just steal something off your desk.
That was such a good look Max gave. He was like, "Is there anything in this corner?"
Yeah. I was trying to explain to Max because Max can drink, and these guys are just regular guys. But if they're from Wisconsin, they can drink. I don't care what they look like; they can drink.
Definitely more than Max. Max
Yeah,
can't drink.
and I
Sure.
actually was talking to one of them last night, and they were like, "We're gonna outdrink Max," and I was like,
I hope
can't
they
happen.
do. I
That
really
can't
hope that they
happen
do.
for our podcast. That cannot happen.
I really hope that they do.
You got to go in there being like, "No one's out drinking me."
No, it'll be. I'm excited. It's going to be good.
What was this punishment for again?
Yeah, I didn't know either. PFT.
Losing the picks in the NFL picks.
Okay.
I'm excited for the video. I think it's gonna be a great video for the AWLs.
Yeah.
And you're playing paintball.
Yeah, you're going on a bachelor party. You're playing golf and paintball and drinking.
I
Gotcha.
haven't picked up a golf club in like 2.5 years, so that'll be interesting as well.
There was one trip that was you playing 6 rounds of golf in 3 days, and I wanted
That
to
would
do
have
that,
been-
but that would have been too much.
Yeah,
Felt bad
6
with the
rounds.
guys.
Six rounds of golf would have been a lot.
That is too
I
much.
know, it was a hilarious,
6 rounds of
hilarious
golf.
itinerary.
Oh
Ugh.
man. All right, let's kick it to ourselves. We got Mike Miller and in studio, and then Randy Moss and special guest Sandman, the horse. And then we'll finish with Fyre Fest. Okay, before we get back in studio, game time. Football is back. The 2025 NFL schedule is out, and the only place you should be getting your tickets is Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. We're planning our fall schedule and circling the games we want to go to with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets. Game Time makes scoring NFL tickets faster and easier. They have exclusive discounts, and you can find seats for us for as low as $100. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic NFL tickets on time and for the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you'll pay. PFT, we were looking at that Monday night game. Bears, Commanders, Week 6.
Week 6, Columbus Day.
What do we got?
Monday night, get-in price, $185.
$185. So what are you waiting for? Go buy those tickets on Game Time. Get the Bears, Commanders tickets. Get all your NFL tickets on Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PMT for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. Okay. Hank is back from sitting on the wood. The Celtics have won Game 5.
Great individual performance from Hank, by the way.
Great job
He
by
left
Hank.
it all on the wood.
The haters tried to take me down. They tried to put out false narratives. That's okay.
What were the false narratives?
PFT posted a video. PFT commenter, man to your right.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah, it was me. All right, people talk about Boston sports fans like they're the end-all, be-all. Like it's a great sports town, they know ball. I don't know who these clowns are that they let sit courts at these games. Never seen a basketball game in their life. Look at this thing. Look at this egregious foul. Watch this. Just gushing blood on this one. And then you've got this jackass in the crowd saying, oh, he went straight up. Who the fuck is that guy?
Josh Hart, it was one of the, like, he just threw his body
Well, you want to talk about like
into a defender and then fell to the ground. They called a foul, which, you know, whatever. It probably, by letter of the law, was a foul. But I was sitting on the wood and I just put my hands up because that's what, I think it was Luke Cornett. He just had his hands straight up. And Josh Hart just flung his body into him.
This was the play that Josh Hart got all bloody, and I think it was Luke Cornett has like razor blades in his armpits.
in the elbows, I think.
Yeah.
I think the elbows got him. And then Hank, the camera was kind of, it wasn't even really on Hank, but I was watching and I was like, oh shit, that's Hank in the background, just advocating for his team, fighting with everything that he's got. And I wanted to bring more visibility to that moment because I feel like a lot of people missed it. Is a fleeting instant on the broadcast. So I just want to highlight you, Hank, as a fan. Great job on the wood. And I thought I could hear your voice once or twice during the game.
Yeah, I mean, I was yelling. I was getting vocal. It's the
Double fist pump.
a lot of double fist pumps. The Luke Cornett game. It's last night will always be remembered as the Luke Cornett game. Big Cat.
Do you want to give me some credit?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, that was the different. I mean, I think the Celtics, it looked like the game started and Derek White was like, I'm going to be the man. He was awesome. I mean, he and Jaylen Brown were great. And then Luke Cornett, like, I actually think that Kristaps, whatever he has, Luke Cornett is a better option than Kristaps right now. And Joe Mazzulla obviously agrees because the second half, he sat Kristaps. Kristaps only played 12 minutes in the whole game.
Yeah, you could see it in the first half. It was basically like he was doing, you know, when they do the football walkthroughs in the hotel room where they're just literally going through the motions. Like, that's how he looked on the court, where he was moving.
Slow motion, yeah.
But there was no bounce. He wasn't, like, going aggressively. He looked like he was going at 50% speed, and then every time, you know, in breaks and timeouts, you could see him, like, leaning over. Mazzulla said he, like, wasn't able to breathe. He basically has what Ovi has. Like, he's just...
Oh, come on, Hank.
Hank,
I was rooting for you.
He was looking slow out there.
I was rooting for you last night. You're a dirty guy. You know that?
The mood of Hank now is so different
Hank
than
is,
2
Hank
days
is such
ago.
a motherfucker. And you know what? I blame myself. I don't blame Hank. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Well, no, you said
shame
that.
on
You
me.
said Ovi doesn't look the same. He looks slow. That's what Porzingis
yeah,
like.
but you're feeling spicy.
I'm trying to relate.
I was rooting
PFT's
for
going to
you,
be on the
Hank.
glass tonight. I was on the wood. Like, I'm just trying to, like,
We were both
make
down.
connections.
Listen, we were both down 3-1. All of a sudden, you get a second win. Congrats on getting a second win against the Knicks in this series, Hank, a team that you've been dominating. And all of a sudden, you get that second win, and you just completely leave me behind.
No, I'm
It says
PFT.
a lot about
you said
you.
show me the way. You said show me the way, and I
trying
did.
to show you the way.
Step one, go. You know, get there, get to your city, will your team to victory. Like, you're gonna do that tonight. I have utmost confidence. I'm so excited for you.
No, you're not.
There's nothing better than, you know, being down, back against the wall, home
being
game.
up is better.
Okay.
Hank,
But
Hank
you won.
Yeah, but Hank was kind
You're
of up
still
already.
down 3-2
because they've been dominating the series.
That's
so
true.
Hank was both down and up at the same time.
But again,
I saw the graphic of Hank saying we're on to the finals, and then in parentheses says Hank after Celtics down 2-1 against the Knicks.
it was as sad of a 2 days as you could have as a sports fan. Like it really, really did suck. And it still does. But like I said, it's like you got like getting to the game, being in the city, forgetting about the Jason Tatum and the offseason, luxury tax, new ownership, whatever, and just seeing the team come together, get a win. We had the momentum. Like it was a great, yes, we were down 3-1. Yes, we're still only won 2 games, but it was a great victory up and down.
So do you start Luke Cornett on Friday night? Yeah, he was awesome. 7 blocks. He was great.
I
Played
think
26
probably
minutes.
do.
Yeah.
I think Porz, like it's like Mazzulla said after the game he couldn't breathe. Like that was his quote.
That's kind of like Ovi.
I don't know how
Ovi breathe.
how
Ovi
you
breathe.
fix that.
Ovi
I don't know
breathe.
how. I don't know how that. I don't know how that gets
Fixed in 2
over.
days.
Yeah,
I forget about start Luke Cornett. I think you build around Luke Cornett.
Yeah.
I agree.
That was awesome.
the future.
He was just lurking in the key.
I
He like didn't move at all. He was just like, come in, I dare you. And then, you're going to come in, I'm going to put it in your face.
Well,
It was great.
I have a question. Would it be, I guess it would be against the PED. Like, could they just give Kristaps like 100 milligram Vyvanse before the game?
Sure.
I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you get busted for testing positive, you can just go through the process of appeals.
Yeah,
and
I
that'll
bet you'd
drag you
feel
onto the
better.
Off-season.
All right, so you also helped that Jalen Brunson got in foul trouble.
big foul trouble.
You got big foul trouble to start the third.
You gave him a great wave off, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he fouled
got
out,
fouled out.
Hank stood
well,
up.
they almost reviewed it. They almost overturned it. That was gonna be tough. I was waving at him hard.
Yeah, you hit him with an awesome goodbye.
Yeah, so that one, I don't know if that's replicable.
No, Cat was in foul trouble.
But Cat's
was-
always in
yeah,
foul trouble.
yeah.
Cat literally just finds fouls. Like his fouls are so frustrating because he will foul when it has no impact on the play, and he's like, "Hey, I just got to get my hands on someone."
And then it's like he's never.
Oh my
committed a foul.
god.
He also feels like the guy that never got away with anything in his life.
Yeah.
Even when he was a kid. Like if all of your friends did something bad, snuck out, he was the one that would get caught because he's just like he's flagrantly Cat.
Yeah.
All the time. He's never blending in. That last foul on Jalen was a stupid foul.
Yeah.
Like you got to be smarter than that. And Tibbs looked like he was about to wring his neck afterwards.
Yeah, he was not happy. So, how do you feel about Friday night? Because I think, obviously, you have if you get to Game 7, I think the Celtics will win the series. I do not think you're going to win Friday night. I think Jalen Brunson is going to win this series on Friday night.
I think that's fair. I do think all the pressure, all the pressure was on the Celtics in Game 1 and 2, and they kind of folded, like they were missing shots, and that's what happens when all of a sudden you're at home. You know you're supposed to win. Shots stop going in, and all of a sudden things can flip. The Celtics are basically playing with nothing to lose. I think that's a good spot to be in, and they have
They
championship
have
experience.
something to lose. The series.
But everyone's expecting them to lose.
Right.
When you're in that spot, that's the
Max, chime in. You're saying
Not
no?
anymore. The last game, everyone was expecting them to lose. Now everyone is thinking like you right now. Like now the pressure's back on the
No, the pressure's on the if you're
wrong.
the teams wise, the pressure is on the Knicks.
If the Knicks
Celtics
lose,
players
they're
do not
still
feel the pressure.
They're still playing games.
The Celtics.
But okay, Max. If
What do you
honest,
mean?
be
You're
honest,
the repeat
be honest,
champions.
Be honest. Who do you think is more the Celtics? I don't know. I feel like the Knicks are we have to win at home.
No, I don't think this game. I think Game 7, yes.
Yes, that's
Game
what
6,
yes.
the Knicks have 2 shots at it. I do not think the pressure is 3 memes, but you already lost your first one, so you have 2 shots left. I think the pressure is still on the Celtics for Friday night. If it goes to Monday night back in Boston, then it's just then the Knicks are
fucked. Then the Knicks are
how could
fucked.
you lose up 3-1 with Tatum out? Then it flips.
Well,
What? Oh, I like where you're about to go. So Max,
talk.
yeah, no,
We'll
go
talk
ahead.
more.
No,
We'll talk more
go ahead.
going
No,
forward.
Max.
Yeah.
That was an impressive win for the Celtics without Jason Tatum. I think what Max is trying to say is, are they a better team without Jason Tatum?
No, I'm not even going to acknowledge these narratives.
But I don't think you understand what he's asking. He's not asking, is Jason Tatum...
They're a great team. Teams are built from the ground up. It's an organizational effort.
Hank, if I may...
1 through 12, 12 through 60, everyone matters.
If I may...
If one guy goes down, everyone else has to step up. Luke Cornett stepped up.
If I may...
Derek White stepped up.
If I may, what Max might be trying to say is the Celtics... Yes, Jason Tatum is a great player. He might even be the best player on the Boston Celtics. But are they a better team without Jason Tatum?
Also, Max has not said anything. He's just giving us faces, and we know exactly where his brain is going.
If I may.
He's nodding along, being like, yes,
I've said one word. The only thing I've said so far is well.
All right, so say it, Max.
No. I like just
Hank, if you may respond to those allegations.
If I may, my answer to your question would be no.
Okay,
It's a
Max.
yes or no question.
What would your counterpoint
my vote
be?
would be no. I think this is something that, talking heads, loser franchises, draft, lottery, people that actually go to that stuff. These are questions that they make so that they have something to talk about. Winning teams are just worried about the win and loss column.
Okay, Max.
Jason Tatum, champion. Right next to his name, champion.
Yeah.
All-star, finals MVP, Olympian, champion.
Orless.
wait.
Was it the
What you
finals
just
MVP?
said is wrong.
All-star MVP.
You just said finals
I meant all-star. I meant
which is
all-star. I meant all-star. I meant all-star.
blatantly wrong.
I meant all-star. I meant all-star.
The All-Star
Same thing.
MVP might be more impressive.
Yeah.
we might need to put that on a quote card.
I've slept for 2 hours.
I do not think that the Celtics are better without Jason Tatum. I do think that if you, in this series, like last night watching them, they might be a more team basketball. That might be every team. When your best player goes out, it's like you got
not the Sixers.
You got to cut more.
That's-
You got to move more. Everyone's got to spread the ball, make the extra pass. There can't be a reliance on, hey, Jason Tatum will bail us out. That exists. Do you
For
agree?
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
And Joe Mazzulla is a great coach, and they still have great players like that. That's okay. Like, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I thought it's
It's
interesting.
a team game, and Mazzulla's a great coach. It's like, yeah, you lose a player, you have to figure out how to game plan with the guys.
Did you
got.
see?
And
Did
they
you see
still got
Coach
good guys.
Mazzulla yesterday?
I did see Coach Mazzulla. I saw him after the game.
Is he locked in?
He is very locked in. Josh, friend of the program, the guy I went with, he we like dapped up, and then Josh, I introduced him. He's like, congrats on all your success. And Mazzulla was like, you're only as good as your next win, or as your last win. And I was like, so we're good. Like,
You're good right now.
Yeah, so I mean, just by the numbers, it looks like the Celtics were 8-2 without Jason Tatum this year.
Yeah, I think they're like,
What was their winning percentage
And they're-
with Jason Tatum? Was it 80?
something like that.
Are they
59.
undefeated in the playoffs without Jason Tatum? Did they win the game against the Magic without him?
No.
Oh, so they're 1-1.
Yeah.
I have a couple other questions, Hank. Sure.
So the Celtics' record overall is 74%, but they're 80% without Jason Tatum. That leads me to believe that just by the numbers, and we are a numbers podcast, we're a stats-based podcast.
I'm a wins-based.
They are
podcast.
literally better this year without Jason Tatum.
PFT is describing wins, by the way.
Wins.
No, you said stats.
Well,
But the stat
a win is a stat.
wins.
Hank, you better just get used to this because if
That's
the
fine.
Celtics
I don't
keep
care.
going,
Like,
this is going to keep going.
I think the listeners know, like, this is the definition of like cope and just like trying to upset a man when
I think
he's
it's
up.
a definition of asking questions.
I think
That's fair.
It's the
And
definition
again-
of being an in-depth national sports podcast.
Correct.
You're asking-
as a national sports
asking
podcast,
yes
we
or
have
no
to
questions.
ask the right question.
You're also
I
not up.
I'm like Henry Lockwood is up. I'm feeling up. I'm up. Memes.
Hank
I'm
has
up.
ended this series twice already.
I have
and they've
not
been
ended
down
the
on
series.
both sides.
No, we got it.
You literally said on to the
game
finals,
by
down
game.
2-1.
That was before a catastrophic injury. But right now, today, whatever the fuck the date is, May 15th, I'm up.
Okay. So my other two
Can
questions.
a guy not be up? Memes.
My other two questions.
No, it's a fair point. It's
Do
game by game.
you have any statement about Jaylen Brown jerking off Josh Hart?
I saw the clip after the game.
That was crazy.
I
He
mean,
grabbed
when you slow
full
when you slow
penis.
things down, anything looks like
you see
can
this?
you can
Yeah,
take
I did.
anything out of context.
I mean, he was like a search and destroy for the penis.
Again, like Stephen Che's a pervert for even finding that. I it's slow down angle.
grabbed
I'm
his
sure in game
penis.
speed it didn't look like that.
He tugged it. I think that was technically a
I
masturbation.
mean, we're football guys, right? Like, what happens at the bottom of the pile? Like, it's
But
just
I
like
think
this
he,
shit
like-
happens in battles.
Well, like he actually kind of masturbated him. Yeah, he held it for long enough. I think the ruling the ruling on the field is masturbation.
He's a ball dominant player.
He jerked him off. Oh yeah, you could see he kind of like fiddled his fingers on his dick. This was disgusting, Hank.
Yeah, I mean, it's slow mo and anything.
This is Josh Hart's sister just said weird. Yeah, she quote tweeted saying weird. Oh, it is weird. They've hooked up. Josh Hart and Jaylen Brown have hooked up.
I don't think so, but
Well, no, they have. I'm watching
We
it.
watched it right there.
That's third base.
Yeah. That's a pelt on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he held on to that for it. I get it. If you like grab or your like hand
Listen, in playoff
finds
games, you
its
got to
way-
get an edge any way you can.
He held it there.
It looks
dude.
like Josh Hart's getting the edge right now.
All right.
That's also Josh Hart's wife.
Oh, that's his wife.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Jealous.
Sorry.
Yeah, she is jealous.
Shannon Hart.
She
Yeah.
is, yeah. You can tell she's like,
Like he did it better than me.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's saying it's weird for Josh. Like, why is he?
No,
getting
she's
handies?
probably mad at Josh. Too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
she's yeah.
You should have made
Weird
him stop.
weird that Josh would allow this to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my other question, last question about this game. There's reports that you may have met one of the top celebs in the country right now, one of the coolest guys out there, let's say maximum aura based on the fact that he does not lace up his Timberlands. We're talking about Timothee Chalamet, and the report is you turtled.
No, so I did do some journalism last night. So I was with Josh, but we were there's like a little bar kind of like food area underneath for the woodies, the wood goers, and like the people close to the game. They can go like in before the game and at halftime. And when I got in there, I sat down.
Wait, time out.
Dan, big
Time
cat.
out. Are you still wearing your wristband?
I went to sleep. At 2 a.m.
piece
I
of
woke up
shit.
at 4 a.m.
He's like a spring breaker
I
coming back
slept
from
for
senior
2 hours.
fraud.
15-year-old going to
What a
Lala.
loser.
What the fuck? Like what? All right. What am I gonna do? Like go? I don't have a pair of scissors. I
You rip
literally
it off
woke
like a
up.
man.
Yeah.
I woke up I woke up my wake up call. I slept through for 40 minutes. I had to sprint to the airport, sprint to my fucking gate, sit in traffic for 2 hours, and just basically walk in the studio. Yeah, I'm still wearing my wristband.
Are you just attached to the memories that go along with the wristband?
You gotta keep it on.
It was a great night. It
and
was a great night.
You'll feel happy.
Yeah. All right. Back to it. Sorry, I was just shocked that. Yeah.
Anyway, I sit down and look to my left, and
Oh, bro, did you go to the game last night?
maybe yeah, dude. I got Team Vom access. Timothy was 5 feet to my left, which was I you guys know I'm bad at hiding my face. I probably gave him like I was like legit shocked how close he was. And then maybe 5 minutes later, the people he was with, like our mutual friends at Dave, they introduced him. They had a quick conversation about pizza, and maybe within 2 minutes of introducing the table, Dave was like, "This fucking guy was on his show saying you're performative," and I legitimately, like, hand up, did not even remember, like, I was lashing out.
It doesn't sound like a
bit.
Hank word to use, to be honest.
I didn't think I said that, so I was like, I don't even know. I was like, I didn't say that. And Chalamet, he wasn't mad. He went about it, like, very, like, cool. Like, I will say, like, I can report Timothee Chalamet, very, very cool guy. But
Aura?
he maximum aura.
Oh,
like
so again, I was right.
you were.
Mm-hmm.
He came over. He's like, "What was I doing that was performative?" Like, he wasn't like pressing me, but he's like, "What was I doing that was performative?" I was like, "I don't even think I said that." And then he just basically told me his history as a Knicks fan. He was like, "Yeah, when they were bad, I was getting season tickets, like trying to like flip them to make money. Chris Duhon, like naming all these players." And I was like, "Yeah, I believe you. Like, I know you're a legitimate fan." Dave just threw me right under the bus. It was not, it was a cool interaction to have, but I was like, not exactly the start you want to get off with someone like Timothee Chalamet. And then, they went into the game. We went into the game. I thought I was going to see him there at halftime. He was not there at halftime, but he was basically sitting across from me the whole game. So like, I would look over and, pause, whatever. I caught myself staring a little bit. Him wearing sunglasses courtside is like such a power move.
Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson.
He was like, I was having the thoughts of like, we're, I think, similar ages, and I was like, he's quite literally 1,000 million times cooler than me.
Correct.
More successful. Like he's got it all.
He's got everything.
He's got it all.
And
yeah,
how
he was-
cool is that to be like? I think he obviously is a real Knicks fan, but like to also reach this type of fame where if he plays it right, like Jack Nicholson went to 40 years of Lakers games sitting courtside. He became synonymous with the Lakers. Like Timothee Chalamet can be basically the heir apparent to Spike Lee.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Was he wearing the Timbs last night?
He was wearing the Timbs last night.
Were they laced?
They were not laced, I don't think.
Smart move.
Good move. You could hurt your ankle if you tie him up too
And
tight.
the aura.
But yeah, he was super fucking cool. Him and Dave just talked about pizza.
So I know that you're a company man, always thinking about work, always doing your job. Big time producer, part of my take. What did he say when you asked him if he would be a guest on part of my take?
Well, yeah, so he came over. Dave basically like set him up to basically like get not mad at me, but he was like came over,
He started a conversation.
addressed the situation, and then he went back to where he was sitting next to Dave, and then like we had a brief interaction. I did not get the chance to. It wasn't. I didn't.
So you
have a chance
didn't book
to say.
him. You didn't book Chalamet.
I didn't book him. I didn't.
We
book
don't. We're not
Chalamet.
getting Chalamet.
That's not true.
Thing about
That could've
Max
been
is
it was a good intro.
Max would have booked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max definitely would have booked him.
I would have been so scared.
All right. So let's say you win Game 6 Friday night, Game 7 Monday, which is a weird schedule. Should we fly Jerry O'Connell in and do a stream on PMT, or
I think
are
we
you
should.
trying to go to the game?
No, I think if Jerry comes in, we should do a stream. I think the fans, the AWLs would love that.
If Jerry can't do it, I'm just thinking out loud. We've got a lot of Knicks fans in the New York office.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Could send you there, but we wouldn't do that.
No,
We've never done that in the past.
No.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're sending them on an extended trip here, Max. If we would never do that, we would just, one game. in and
I
out.
don't think you could do it too. Like second round is late enough in the playoffs. Max, you've never had to go for the second round, right?
No, it was second round for a full week.
Oh,
that's okay.
The
Yeah,
precedent has been set.
The precedent has been set. Max, had some rivals in New York, and I think they got Clemmer. They got Clemmer versus Meek Phil, which is a good rivalry.
Must watch TV.
I think there was a little bit of contention last night with me and with Timmy. Like I think I gotta go
Oh, yeah,
to
it's
Game
you and
7
Timmy.
and
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like Meek and Phil can handle the New York streams. Like I think I gotta go.
You got to go against Timmy.
So you've already moved on from Jerry, but you will accept Tim as a replacement.
Jerry moved on from me.
He did. Jerry O'Connell did move on.
But then
from
you
He
also
just quit Game 5.
But then you also burned the bridge afterwards. You were like, fine, flip flopping pussy.
That's
No,
not burning a bridge.
he-
That's a statement of fact.
No, Jerry, the sequence of events is Jerry called the series over, retired Bing Bong.
Hank
flip-flopped and brought the Bing Bong back. That's when Hank said flip-flopping pussy.
And he
then
only did it
today,
because everyone was like, Jerry, what are you doing? You
Yeah.
can't
No,
do
But
this.
but Hank called the season over before Jerry
Thank
did.
you.
what?
I said we're on
Hank
to
said
the
the
Eastern
season
Conference
that it was
Finals.
over before Jerry did.
Oh, when did you say that?
He said we're on to the finals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
the
That's
same
true.
thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. But
No,
then,
but I didn't say I'm taking. She said I'm taking Game 5 off. And
Yeah.
if the Celtics win, I'll be back. That's insane.
and then he also said, he said Hank is not a good enough rival for him anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, Hank called the series over. That's
True.
my whole
True,
point is
true,
that
true.
Hank is the one that called the series over.
Well, there
said
was
we're moving on from
extenuating
Mr. Big Ball.
circumstances that came in between. Like I think if
you're
Jason
using
Tatum-
a lot of $5 words today, Hank, and I don't know if somebody bought you a dictionary for your birthday or what, but it's unbecoming.
Even even if Tatum didn't get hurt, you would have been down 3-1.
We'll never know.
Okay,
They are a better team without Tatum.
that's true.
But yeah, if Jerry wants to smoke, I think
You're back on.
the AWLs deserve a stream. But
Yeah.
if he's not,
You're gonna have to go.
I think I can't let
go.
Timothy.
You can't
yeah,
let Timmy
like,
run wild.
No.
You got to be on Chalamet watch.
Yeah.
What about Frank the Tank?
Henry
You don't
Lockwood.
want to face off?
Officially, he's been officially enlisted for Chalamet watch. You need to fight him.
Yeah. Clemmer
Okay.
can handle Meek Phil.
All right, other games. Series over for the Warriors. Also feels like kind of the end of maybe. This was a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, they were never going to win a game. They were never going to win this series without Steph Curry.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, they're not a better team when
they're
Steph
not.
Curry is out.
Although he can't stay healthy. Some are saying that Steph Curry is the West Coast version of Joel Embiid in the playoffs.
This series was Julius Randle was the MVP of this series. He was so good every single game. And the Timberwolves are a very good team. And we'll talk about them more because obviously they're in the Western Conference Final, back-to-back Western Conference Finals, see if they can take the next step and go to the finals. This was like a sad, hey, the Warriors, this iteration may be dead. Steve Kerr said afterwards he thought they had a legitimate chance to make a finals run if Steph had stayed healthy. I also I know Jimmy Butler was sick, but is this the death of playoff Jimmy?
No, I think Jimmy's just he can't do it all on his own for 3 games in a row.
But that's what he's been like. The playoff Jimmy has done that.
That's what playoff Jimmy did.
That's literally what playoff Jimmy did. The last 2 games he took 20 shots total. I don't know. Again, he was feeling under the weather 2 games ago. Maybe still lingered, but like it might. I mean, he's getting older.
I think
it might
it
have
was-
been just the end of playoff Jimmy as well.
I think the writing was on the wall for the Warriors where Kuminga was like, okay, I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to be able to show off what I can do. I don't know if they're going to bring him back as a restricted free agent. I think he's an RFA this year. I don't know if they're going to try to sign and trade him. I don't know if they're just going to let him go off. But this was like Jimmy was not the Warriors weren't doing their best team effort to win this series because I think they all understood that they couldn't.
But
so you've got a guy like Kuminga that's like, I'm going to go out there and take a million shots too. So you can't really get into playoff Jimmy mode.
I think that's exactly where, like, when Steph gets hurt in game 2, you're like, playoff Jimmy will get him one. He didn't get him one.
Yeah, I think it's just the Warriors. They realize we don't have a chance without Steph.
That's when playoff Jimmy should be. Might be the death. He's going to be 36 before next year. Is playoff Jimmy done?
I'm excited for the Timberwolves.
Oh, woo.
2 years in a row getting to this place. Are they a better team now? I think they might be a better team.
Yeah.
And I think that both the Knicks and the Timberwolves both got a lot better by doing that trade. The rare win-win trade where I guess, who was it, the Hornets? The Hornets lost that trade.
Yes.
The other two teams won. Both teams got a whole lot better. I'm excited to see what the Wolves can do. I don't know, who would you rather play if you're the Wolves? If you had to pick.
I mean, they beat the Nuggets last year in 7.
Yeah.
So it's like you've done it. Julius Randle he's exactly what the Timberwolves needed in the fact that Cat has these swings and he's an incredible shooter, an incredible like offensive big man. Julius Randle has just been consistent, and you've seen it where he doesn't do the old Julius Randle of spinning to nowhere and all that stuff. He's just been awesome. And Anthony Edwards, I feel like we're due from. I think has Anthony Edwards he had a 50-point playoff game last year, right?
I don't think he's gone nuclear this year, has he?
He's toyed with it. I think we're gonna get a 50 burger in the Western Conference Final at some point from Anthony Edwards, because it feels like he's flirting it. I'm looking right now for game logs. I'm excited for and shout out also the Timberwolves fan who was just doing coke in the middle of the game. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see that one. No.
Yeah, there was a guy who it was the feed of it was the Jumbotron feed, so like people who have the league pass, they were watching and someone noticed it, but also no, I think there's still I guess the league pass and there were people tweeting about it.
Maybe
Here it is.
TNT sometimes has like the back.
Yeah.
You can just watch the one camera angle.
Yes. Yeah, watch this. Just blatantly. Good for that guy. He's just dipping it on his
That guy's definitely an AWO.
Yeah. Love that. He thought he was set and the Jumbotron was just right on him while he was just doing coke in his seat. That's a savage move,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
also
tough.
it's a closeout game against the Warriors. Like, I think that if it was a court situation, you'd be like, dude, we were closing out the Warriors.
If I'm his boss,
That guy's an idiot. Yeah, like that guy better own his own company or he's fucked.
If I'm his boss, I'm willing to let this one slide. If it had been during a loss, that's
Wednesday
when.
afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine if you're losing a playoff game, you're down 15 points in the fourth quarter, and the camera catches you just doing a bump in the stands. That's an issue. Doing sad cocaine.
Although you could probably spin it anyway. You'd be like, yeah, the boys needed me.
Yeah.
It's a tight game. You're like, I was nervous, needed to get locked in.
If the game's out of hand, though, that's a bad look.
44 points is his career. I'm going to say right now, 50 burger coming for Anthony Edwards in this series. I'm excited. I don't know. Are they going to start I guess we've already taped the Nuggets Thunder. Is there a chance we just don't have any playoffs this weekend?
Yeah, WNBA. They are taking some of the nights off to give more spotlight to WNBA opening weekend.
Got it. All right, so hockey, the Leafs are in major trouble. Major trouble.
Big time.
That was as much of an ass kicking as you could get in front of a home crowd. Very important game 5. Holy shit, they got smoked.
Yeah, I feel bad
It's
for
the
Biz.
worst.
Oldie was watching the game with Biz last night, trying to amp things up, and it's funny seeing Biz be the parent in a relationship like that. Where like normally there's somebody to Biz's side being like, "Come on, Biz, let's not get distracted with the shiny things. Let's keep it moving." Oldie turned Biz into, "Oh, okay, let's settle down, Oldie. Come on." Like he was the responsible one, but it didn't do anything. It was 4-0 before you could fart.
Yeah, well, Coach Craig Berube, the Leafs coach, said it perfectly. He said, I don't think they came in any harder than they have. I think we let them come tonight. We stood around and watched.
So
Yeah.
they were sitting in the cuck chair.
Yeah, it's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Kind of hot.
They were just coming. The Panthers were coming, and Craig Berube was just sitting there watching the whole thing.
Oh, speaking of great coaching moves, how about, I don't think we talked about Chris Finch calling his team a bunch of losers.
Yeah.
When they were winning a game, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I believe they were up at the time. He's like, you guys are playing like a bunch of losers out there. And then Anthony Edwards after the game was like, yeah, coach just called us losers at halftime. And
Sometimes you gotta say
he
it.
was right. So we just decided to stop being losers.
Yeah.
But yeah. Craig Berube, that's it is kind of hot.
Yeah.
It is kind of hot.
They just let him come.
Yeah.
And then the Oilers, domination of the Knights. You can't win that's as close to a sweep as you can get because they won the series 4-1, and the only win for the Knights was a buzzer beater.
Yeah. So how many minutes did Edmonton's goalie go without letting in a goal?
Skinner, yeah, it was. It must have been after
After overtime.
So 60?
No. It was 100,
it was 120.
It was 120 before
Yeah.
they got to overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really on a hot streak right
Answered the bell because there were legitimate people saying like, "Hey Skinner, that's crazy that you did that in the buzzer beater. How could you let him play anymore?" The series comes back, doesn't give up a goal for the next 2 games.
I mean, who's Batman, who's Robin on that team? I think Skinner is probably Batman,
Yeah.
and then you got to say McDavid is Robin.
Draisaitl
Draisaitl,
maybe is
yeah.
Robin.
Oh, yeah.
And then
McDavid might be Alfred.
He's Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Catwoman. That seems right. I'm excited for the Oilers. I'm excited for Witt.
Same.
Oilers Stars feels like could be awesome. Could be very awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about the NFL schedule? Oh, I had one last.
Let's. I mean, we obviously taped the beginning PFT, but like, what's your mindset going into this
he's
game?
gonna make
Like,
you predict it.
How do you feel? What do you think happened?
How should I feel?
You should feel excited, nervous but excited.
I feel confident.
Yeah.
I feel confident. I think this is a 4-goal win.
4 goal?
I think this is on the city.
All right, I'm going to take an alternate line.
The city is going to win tonight.
That's what it's all about.
DC
Yeah, it's like you got a home game. You got to rally.
The district.
Get a gape.
We're getting a gape in the district tonight, and I'm feeling very confident. If
Hands on glass.
there's hands on the glass, if there's any Russian gas available anywhere in the world, Ovechkin's going to have it before tonight. I feel like there's going to be a lot of energy, and don't let us win one.
Yep.
I got a message for the Hurricanes. Don't let us win one.
Wow.
Because if we do, we're bringing the Storm back to Raleigh.
This is going to be bad if they lost.
And Game
No.
6, I'm saying don't let us
They
win
got
one.
this.
Don't let it. If they don't let us win one, then I predict that the Hurricanes will win the series.
That's a good prediction.
If they let us win one, I wouldn't let us win one. I'll just say
don't
that.
do it.
You don't want to know what's going to happen if we win one.
Don't do it.
But it's going to be very bad for you and very good for me. But I do feel strangely confident about this game. Home ice. Logan Thompson took off the morning skate because he's just trying to get locked in for the night. And I think Ovi's going to get a goal. I think Wilson's going to put somebody through the glass. I think Strome's going to have 2 assists. And I think Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to get an empty netter.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
what I think.
Fuck yeah.
We're taping this at 11 in the morning before you get on your flight to D.C. So
I mean, I'm bringing my mom with me. She's got to be worth at least 2 goals, right?
easily.
Like,
Easily.
moms are good luck. Mother's Day week. Taking on a double date with Nate.
They get a whole week.
Mother's Day week.
Yeah, Mother's Day week.
that'll
They
be
get a
fun.
whole week?
Mother's Day week. I told,
Post mostly Mother's Day week.
I told my mom, I was like, hey, listen, for Mother's Day, taking you out for a nice dinner in D.C., then we're going to go to the Capitals game together. She's very excited about that. She loves the Caps. So I think Mama Commenter is worth 2 goals at least.
Yeah. All right. I had one last thing before we talk NFL schedule. Did you guys see one of the saddest headlines I've seen? Cavs owner Dan Gilbert spent over $500,000 on fake snow machines that were used one time in the postseason. So this is a thing the Cavs did. It's called the Cavalanche. When the Cavs
That's a nice touch.
when the Cavs go on a run, like a unanswered 10 in a row, they do a Cavalanche in the stands where they drop fake snow. He spent $500,000. He used it one single time.
But you can save that, right?
That's also a business.
I don't know.
That's a business expense.
Yeah.
You write that off.
I mean,
$500K for a billionaire's
it probably, I would imagine it went.
$500.
It went off. They were like, "Hey, we want to spend $500,000 on this thing where we're going to drop fake snow." He's like, "No." They're like, "What if we told you it's the Cavalanche?"
That's what
So
some guy came
so-
up with the Cavalanche, and Dan Gilbert stood up on a table and was like,
We need more of this guy.
"How much is it going to cost? Doesn't matter."
Yeah.
Was it the fake snow that cost $500,000, or was it the entire apparatus?
I think it was the fake
process.
snow.
Because he's getting ripped off by his fake snow guy.
All right, here it is. Before the start of this postseason, Cavs chairman Dan Gilbert loved the idea of the Cavalanche, so much that he paid more than $500,000 to install fake snow machines in the arena's ceiling that could blast confetti throughout the arena's bowl when the Cavs went on one of their patented offensive tears.
Okay, so that's an investment then.
The Avalanche machine went off exactly once in the entire postseason.
Yeah, that's an investment. So it's not like the Avalanche is still there for next year.
Do you think
It's like if you renovate a bathroom, you add a bathroom to your house.
Yeah.
That ups the resale value. When he sells the Cavs 20 years from now, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, and it comes with the Avalanche.
Yeah, do you think Dan Gilbert, after they got bounced, like went into an empty arena and was like, just hit the Avalanche once for me.
By
Just let me
himself?
see the Avalanche.
I think he probably got the Avalanche turned on specifically for him before the playoffs even started. He's like, I want to use me as the test dummy.
The fucking name is right there. It's the Avalanche. Yeah.
It's a great name.
We need more. We need more guys like Todd and more ideas like the Avalanche. Everyone else is fired in this room. Build the whole team out of the Avalanche.
We do the caviar, and we're just going to dump fish eggs on it. Our fans that are in the wine and cheese section.
Oh man. All right. NFL schedule. I feel very confident in remaining with my take that they completely have ruined the fun of the NFL schedule release, because I don't know if you guys had the same experience. I knew the entire Bears schedule at noon on Wednesday.
It should be noon.
And it
It's
should
not
also
prime time.
They
It's not
just
a TV show.
They
Is it-
give
is it-
out too many games so you can all piece it together.
It was a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
It was 2 hours of unveiling the schedule. At some point, they're just going to do like one game per week.
Right.
It's going to be like we're going to spend like the entire month of April and May just dropping. Okay, here's weeks 1 through 4. Next week is weeks 4 through 8. Here are all the primetime games. They're going to try to milk it for everything. The only thing that was good about the schedule release was the apologies that had to come after the fact from teams that had screwed them up.
Yeah.
So the Colts had to apologize.
I'm woke on that.
Yeah. So Hank, if you were to guess two things, one is a company and one is a person for who the Indianapolis Colts had to apologize to for their schedule release, who would you guess?
Oh, I don't know. Jif Peanut Butter?
No, they had to apologize
Martha Stewart?
to they said we apologize to Microsoft and Tyreek Hill.
I'm woke on
Two
this.
powerful enemies.
So the Colts tweeted their video. By the way, I don't want to sound too old manish. I'm out on like all the schedule release videos except for the Chargers.
Yeah, that's what I said on Monday.
yeah.
It's like I will check the Commanders because I want to, and then I will check the Chargers because they usually do a great job. Everyone
Tries to get like so funny and cute, and then you also remember that there's owners who have to sit and like be like approved or not approved. Just stop it. Just stop. It's not whatever. The Chargers though, and the Colts now. So I'm woke on this. I think the Colts might have deleted it to get more buzz because that was legitimately a hilarious video. They actually crushed it. They did Tyreek Hill as a Dolphin getting arrested by the Coast Guard. They had Will Levis getting hit by a bus, a bachelorette bus, where there was a chick puking on the bus. They had Kyler Murray as the chicken jockey. They had John Rocker and Mahomes Sr. fighting, and then Patrick Mahomes is a frog, and then they had Liam Cohen doing the Duval. It was funny.
That sounds all funny.
And then they deleted it. But I think that it actually makes it even better. It's like a cult classic.
So
Cult classic.
there were
Yeah.
multiple.
There it is. Nice, Hank. Your brain's
multiple
back.
multiple teams
Never left.
that did Minecraft.
Yeah.
So that was they gotta either maybe this was like a thing where they all agreed to promote the Minecraft movie and took some money on the side, or they need to have a group chat amongst all the social media managers where they say, "Hey, we got dibs on." They got to do a draft lottery.
A televised draft would be funny.
Yeah, to see who is allowed to use whatever the hottest pop culture reference is at the time.
It would be very funny for them to do a televised draft, and then you have every social media, like the head of every social media team sitting in a room, and they get up there and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do Minecraft."
Yeah, or like last year, we got dibs on Hawk Tua.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hey, we're gonna do a play on the bear, and we're gonna do different like cuisines.
Yeah, we have the Costco guys booked. We talked to them 7 months ago.
Where the fuck were the Costco
We
guys?
talked to
How were
them.
they not used?
My guess is that every team had talked to the Costco guys, and they said, "You know what? We're going to be busy. We're banging the drum."
Well,
We're
the
hockey
video
guys."
of when they did the Panthers, did you see what they said in it?
No.
They're like, we're the Costco guys. We like every NHL team, but tonight it's the Panthers.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, We love all the NHL teams, but tonight we're in the Panthers' house. So that means that the Panthers are a boom and you're a doom.
So they could have done
You
every.
can't like
it should have been
every NHL.
It should have
team.
been 30.
That's illegal.
The Costco guy should have revealed every single. They should have been every team's video.
Yeah, you got to use them for everything or nothing. I think the Costco guys are their brand is open for everybody.
Yeah.
They don't want to pigeonhole themselves to be in one team. But I imagine that there were a lot of phone calls that were made to them this year.
Yeah, I have one other old man take, and I actually think this one's correct, and people will agree with me. I think it is absolutely bullshit to have any division game played international. So
I
the
agree.
Chargers and Chiefs are playing on Friday night in Brazil to start the season. You should not have division games be international games.
I would agree
That
with
is
that.
so stupid.
I also don't like the division games being super close together either.
Yeah, that one I feel like they've just been going towards that way. Like you play the Eagles
We
close.
got Eagles, break Eagles.
Yeah, I think we have Packers
Last
in
3 weeks of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like that. You're playing against the same team.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have a bye in the last 3 weeks of the
Oh
season.
no, it's,
No, it's-
Eagles, Christmas, Eagles. I think.
I know we finished the last game of the season is Eagles Commanders. So
Week 5 bye sucks.
Yeah.
That's what the Bears have. Not too happy about that. Also, I was just looking like random things like the Browns. The Browns' schedule to start is Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Lions. They're going to be.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's a very, very, very hard. All right, so
the
we're gonna,
commies opened the preseason at Gillette at that stupid fucking lighthouse, Hank.
preseason.
Yeah.
Do a watch party.
Hell yeah.
can I say
Yeah.
bullshit that the Bills used AI?
Well, you should have used them.
That we did the Super Bowl.
You should have used them.
Ours
What
was
do you mean
ours
we did the Super Bowl?
like our release video was just a 2-minute video of the Super Bowl trophy, and then the
Okay.
last frame.
So
was the
you're
schedule.
you're just hung up on the past.
That's funny. I actually like that.
Yeah, it's just
that's a flex.
Yeah, it's just who
That's
gives a
a
fuck
flex.
about this. Here's the schedule.
I like
But
that. I like that.
but the Bills using Allen Iverson is absolute bullshit.
Very creative though.
Yeah. I thought it was fine.
What if the Nuggets had used them? I mean, the
That would have been
Broncos.
fine.
Okay.
Broncos would have been fine.
Well, the Buffalo doesn't have an NBA team.
Then you can't use Allen Iverson.
They
did.
They used AI.
Yeah, they did.
They can't.
They did.
They can't.
They did whatever they want. We also have on paper. This is my favorite part about the schedule being released is that we get excited for games. We're about to do our Mount Rushmore of games of the year. On paper, we do have a very strong Thanksgiving. So it's Packers at Lions, Chiefs at Cowboys, Bengals at Ravens.
Yeah, that's going to be a great day.
That's going to be a great day.
Really
and
solid
then
day.
Bears at Eagles on Black Friday.
Yeah, this
right
was
after.
it was going to be my Fyre Fest, but I'll bring it up now. My Fyre Fest is at the NFL as I thought they would. They are really going to shove the Commanders down your throat next season.
Yeah.
I think there's 8 standalone games that you're going to have to watch them. It's a lot of pressure. I'm not used to the idea of my team playing in primetime so much, but it's a high likelihood that people will get sick as shit of seeing my team play.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
They also, speaking of primetime, they hit the Patrick Mahomes button. The first 8 weeks of the season, 5 primetime games for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Smart. I'm down for that. Patrick Mahomes playing in a game, it will feel more important.
Yep.
It's just a fact. All right, you ready to do the dumbest draft? Because half these games will have like a backup quarterback playing.
Yep.
Mount Rushmore of games of the year. Hank, you want to start?
No.
Okay. PFT, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
All right, go ahead, PFT.
My
This is our Mount Rushmore of games of the year. We're going to take it very seriously.
my first overall pick for game of the year. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be basing this off ratings, however the ratings go.
Yep.
Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills.
Good one.
In Orchard Park, week 9, 4:20, the afternoon game. Blaze it. CBS, we got Nance and Romo on the call.
Okay.
That's going to be a big one.
I like that one. All right, I'll go week 2, Eagles at Chiefs Super Bowl rematch, afternoon window. That's a really nice thing they did there because we get so hyped up for week 1, and then there's usually a little like, oh, week 2 doesn't. You don't have the same, excitement, and then we have that waiting for us. So good job by the NFL schedule makers.
I was going to take that one.
Well, I did.
I know. It's a good pick.
Yeah.
Good pick. Good value. I will
value.
go with kind of one that's like a guaranteed, we don't know what's going to happen later in the season. Week 1, Baltimore at Buffalo. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Bills Mafia.
Great pick.
Great game.
Great pick.
You never know what's going to happen throughout the season, but this is one you is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Yep. Good pick, Hank.
Great
Thank
pick.
You get a second one.
No, Max.
I will go. My first one will be Week 11. Lions at Eagles. Sunday Night Football. Lions fans, Lions players think that they would have beat the Eagles last year, so they'll give them a chance of some sort of redemption, even though it'll mean nothing. And then my next one will be Week 4. Ravens at Chiefs.
That's a good one.
Sunday
Week 3.
I'm seeing Week 4.
Okay, Week 4.
Ravens at Chiefs, 4:25 start.
Wow.
Sunday.
Feels
That's
like
gonna be a great one.
Feels like the Ravens win that one, and they get feeling themselves.
Yep.
Then they match up later in the playoffs.
Yep. Okay, Hank.
I'm going to go I don't know where I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with Week 6. Podcast producer of this show. I'm a big fan of Part of My Take. I'm going to go with Week 6, Chicago at Washington.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Tattoo game.
Gonna be a good one.
We're going to see. My guess is, when they do those little weird animation things sometimes that they do on Monday Night Football,
Yeah.
they're going to have the Pope on there.
Yeah.
The Pope is going to be featured in the weird digital
A
form.
lot of Hail Mary video.
By the way, did you know that the Pope fucked?
What?
Yeah, I just found that out this morning.
How?
On DV radio.
Wow.
Apparently, when he was like 19 years
I'll continue.
when he was 19 years old, apparently he was in a little relationship,
Oh.
and they found the girl,
Oh.
and so this might be the first Pope to have fucked. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, a woman,
Yeah.
an adult woman.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with. I'll go Thanksgiving night. You finished all the meals, you watch some football, and then you're like, man, I hope there's a good game. How about Joe Burrow going up against Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, Week 13? I love that game. I'm gonna love that game.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
So this could hinge one way or the other,
Okay.
but I feel like it's great value if it hits.
Yep.
Week 10, Sunday Night Football, October 26th. Sorry, Week 8, Sunday, October 26th. Week 8, Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers
Yes.
at the
had it
Pittsburgh
on my list.
at
Shit.
the Pittsburgh Steelers. If we get Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Now, if there's no Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, then everything is off the table at this point.
Yep.
But that will be a great game if he is.
Yeah. It was on my list. That's a great pick. Hat tip.
Yep.
Yeah. You got another one.
Okay. There's just so many great games.
So many great games.
So many great games I have to choose from here. I'm going to go with the Bengals at the Bills. Has anyone taken that? Bengals at Bills, Week 14, December 7th. Never forget, Bengals, Joe Burrow going into Orchard Park playing our good friend Josh Allen. Friendship game.
Yeah. I wanted that one too.
Prayers for DeMar game.
Prayers for DeMar. Got to have prayers for DeMar. There's so many good games. So many good games to pick from. And it's hard to pick these games because there's so many good games. You don't want to leave one out, and there's just so many good games. I'll go Week 13, Vikings at Seahawks. Sam Darnold revenge.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, Sam Darnold revenge. That is a afternoon game, Week 13.
Good pick.
Thanks.
Similar to PFTs, this one hinges obviously on Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to stick again, go to Week 1. This is just fun. Fun storylines. Pittsburgh at New York Jets. Jussie versus Raji. Teams reversed. Either way, one of the fan bases. Obviously, if Aaron Rodgers is on the Steelers, this won't be as funny. But if he is, one of these fan bases is going to be furious one weekend, which is just hilarious.
Are they going to
Yes.
let Aaron Rodgers run out with the American flag before the game?
They should.
I think they should too.
This is crazy that like Mason Rudolph might be their just starter.
Yeah. I mean, thank God for flex scheduling, right?
They should trade for Jameis. Giants have too many quarterbacks. It's just a fact.
I should have got Shadussi.
Should have gotten Shadussi. All right, Max, you got your last two. This has been some great podcasting.
Yeah, this has been great. I'm going to go with Week 17, Eagles at Bills.
Okay.
Nice, another 4:25 start, and then crazy. I have so many.
You got to
Eagles
hope that
games
game
on
doesn't
here.
matter, though, right?
It's the second to last week.
You
Oh,
gotta
true.
hope- yeah.
Still.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Eagles at Bills, Week 17, and then I'm going to go Week 10, Monday Night Football, Eagles at in Lambeau.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go to that game. So that's going to be a great game.
The tush push revenge game.
Yeah.
Ban this,
Yep.
pussies.
Pussies.
We don't say that. to
Right.
The Packers
We
anymore.
don't say that. We don't say that.
Okay. Hank, your
All right,
last
I'm going to
one?
go off the beaten path here. I'm going to call my shot.
I'm going to do that as
Okay.
well.
I
on my
think
last.
the voting will probably happen tomorrow. So, but we might have to do a post mostly vote because if this comes true, I think I would get the win.
Mm-hmm.
Week 4, Cleveland at Detroit. Shador Sanders coming out party.
Oh,
I like that call.
3
shot.
weeks of build up. People saying start him. I think week 4 is maybe the time when something comes to a head, maybe an injury with the quarterback, and it's like, okay, it's Shadussi time at Detroit. Powerhouse goes in, wins on the road, and he's arrived.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. All right, I'm going to go off the beaten path too and try to call my shot. This is my holy shit, there's too many international games. This game's going to suck, and then it actually rocks game of the year. It's Sunday, November 9th in Berlin, Falcons at Colts. I don't want to watch that game.
Okay.
But then it's just going to end up rocking.
Yeah.
I do not want to watch that game. And it's also like perfectly, it's the 5th, I believe, international game, 6th international game of the year. You're just like, dude, we're doing this still, and then somehow like Anthony Richardson and Michael Penix are gonna have like the best games ever.
Yeah, it's good to call your shot on
Yeah.
one of them after you're already sick of waking up that early.
Right.
I'm also going to call my shot.
Whoa.
Okay. We got
Big
shot
time,
collars.
big time calling my shot. This is January 25th, and it is the Washington Commanders against the Chicago Bears for the NFC Championship.
Wow.
That is my game of the year.
Wow.
Putting it all on the line.
Love that. I would love that.
What a great game that would be.
It'd be great for the show.
I actually don't know where it's going to be played at, either Chicago or
What about
DC. I don't have
DC?
that. I
What
don't
about
have that
England?
in my
Wait.
Fucking Rogers gonna make us do another one.
Oh, never mind.
No, he's talking about
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
calling.
I think it's going to be in DC. I think it's going to be in DC.
Got to be in DC.
Got to be in DC. Yep.
Why's it gotta be in DC? Have you guys?
Because
have you
they're
guys done a
returning.
blind?
They're returning. They were. You guys are up and comers still.
Have you guys done a blind?
Washington's established powerhouse. They got to keep trucking.
I feel like he's now trolling both of us.
Yeah, he is. I'm choosing not to engage.
Have you,
You guys made the NFC. That's established.
I'm choosing not to engage with Hank. Hank wins one fucking playoff game at
So
home.
right, he's so died.
I'm gassing you up.
You win
dialed.
one playoff game. You swing back and forth like a motherfucker.
I'm
You know
gassing
that?
you up.
crazy.
Oh wow! God forbid a sports fan goes up and down with their
That's the point, Hank.
but you go from either thinking that you're God to turning into a mass shooter based on a win or a loss.
Again, I don't know what you want me to say. I'm an emotional guy.
What? It's true.
Also, I was just complimenting you,
have you
and that turns me into an asshole.
have you guys done a blind? Go through your own schedule and get your record.
I've not done that yet.
All of our
but,
games seem like cupcakes.
but I'll just say I'll say 11-6.
That's what, so I did it on Waddle and Sylvia yesterday. They sprung it on me, and I ended up at 11-6. I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather be 10-7. Feels like or 9-8 feels a 6 out of 10 excitement.
But you know what? Every year I look at the schedule and I'm like 11-6.
yeah, that's true.
I
That's
can
true.
do it.
All right, let's get to our interviews. We got 2 great interviews. We got Mike Miller and then our guy Randy Moss talking Preakness. Before we do that, PFT, you got a couple ads?
Yeah, before we get to our good friend Mike Miller, it's brought to you by Truly. Truly, it's time to get unruly with Truly Unruly Lemonade. It is delicious. This stuff is great. I love the Bumpin' Blue Raspberry. That's my favorite flavor that they got. The Truly Unruly Lemonade combines the high alc fun of Truly Unruly with everyone's favorite lemonade. It's lemonade let loose, 8% ABV, 100% delicious. You got the 4 flavors, the Bumpin' Blue Raz, the OG Original Lemonade, the Punched Up Pineapple, the Wild Pink. It's the official hard seltzer part of my take. Level up your lemonade with Truly Unruly. Find it at a store near you or visit trulyhardseltzer.com. And now here's Mike Miller.
Okay, we now welcome on a very, 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 very special guest. It is 2-time NBA champion, turned agent. He's here for the combine. Shout out Lyft.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is Mike Miller. Thanks for coming by. It's awesome to see you. It's awesome to have you in the studio. Why don't we start with the combine? So you are an agent now. How's the transition to being an agent?
First of all, dope spot. Appreciate y'all having me in here.
Yes, thank you.
We're gonna hold our pro day out of your guys' facility next year for sure.
Absolutely.
Get all the NBA teams in here.
Yes.
Show some love. But no, it's been awesome. I knew I wanted to stay in the game. When I retired after 17 years, I took a little bit of time off and then got into coaching at University of Memphis. COVID hits, everyone's going crazy, right? So took a reset button and knew I wanted to stay in the game and help these kids. And so it was a bunch of my guys, kind of like you guys doing this stuff, right? We started to put LIP together, and I think 5 years in now, we're super excited where we're growing this thing and we're continuing to build.
Yeah, very cool. So who do you represent now?
So I have guys across the board. So Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter. We got Jeremiah Fears in this year's draft. Boogie Flan. We got Jabari Smith at Houston. Our company's got a ton of guys, man. We're blessed. It's been awesome.
As a Wizards fan, I was very disappointed that we got the 6th overall pick. But now I took a day and then I started doing some scouting, and I watched a little of Jeremiah Fears play last year. But now I'm like, I think I want that guy.
You should want him.
I think he's going to be a great NBA point guard. I really do.
So I got good news. I got bad news.
Okay.
The good news is you should want him.
Uh-huh.
He's going to be an absolute monster. I don't think he gets a 6.
Please.
This is Agent Mike talking, because I watched the clip of the year Paolo got drafted.
Yeah.
And he told the story. Paolo's told the story. He's been on this show. He was awesome. He said that you were just pacing and talking to yourself and being like, lock in, get in the zone. You got to be Agent Mike. Is that true? Were
You got to lock in. It's different. You know what I mean? Like, once you get out of the game, you got to find competitive shit to keep you going. And so, for me, it was like that's just the way I am, right? And so, one, I owe it to them. If they pick Lift and they pick me to represent them, I want to give them the best I got. So it's not Agent Mike talking about Jeremiah. Jeremiah is just a special kid, and he's a grinder. And I've been with him for the last month and a half, well, the whole year, but last month and a half training him and just seeing where he's at. And he's just a baby. I mean, in 3-4 years, like when you remake this draft, he's going to be one of the top, probably the top 1 or 2 in this draft class.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I
like
mean,
that.
please just say, if you could go behind the scenes and just say the opposite of everything that you just said to me.
To everybody except for Washington.
The Spurs, to the Hornets, to the Sixers. Yeah. No, he's junk. You don't want him. That kid's a wizard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so you do have a gear that you have for Agent Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's, P gassed that up a little bit, but I appreciate him doing that. But, he gassed it up a little bit. But there's definitely gears to it, right? Like, some of that stuff's out of your control, especially when you get there. Like, the work's been done. Like going into this draft for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, our kids have been doing all the training already, but now they start going out here. Now that the draft lottery's set, you start going out here and visiting teams and go to your workouts. Once you get to draft day, a lot of the work's been done, right? And so it's just now, trying to manipulate some things at the end, which you try to do.
Yeah, behind the scenes as an agent, I feel like the NBA has a lot of there's a lot of strategic trade requests that are floated out there.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, well, no, you can take it wherever you want to take it.
Okay.
Is there an art to leaking a trade request?
I think there is an art to it. And I think, depending on, where your kid is at as far as how much scrutiny or how much light he wants to take, right? I mean, some guys are just blunt because they want to be out. Other guys, you can find ways to do it. Fortunately for me, in my situation, I'm only 4 or 5 years in. We really haven't had any trade requests, so I haven't had to deal with that. But I definitely think there's an art to it. I mean, the way you market it and the way you do it is important.
Yeah. So when you retired, you immediately were like, I have to stay in the game some way and get into coaching, or did you take a minute where you're like, because we talked to Joakim a couple weeks ago. He said he didn't watch basketball for 3 years. He was like, I can't watch basketball.
That's the biggest Joakim thing ever. Isn't
it? Yeah. He was just like, I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be a part of it. Now he's back to watching basketball. Did you have any of that, or were you like, I had a great career. I got everything I needed to get out of it, and now I'm on to the next chapter?
I mean, I for a lot of us, for most people, you don't get to land your own plane and decide, to end when you want to, right? And so to play 17 seasons was a blessing. I still had that hunger and wanted to be in it. My kids were at an age where I could be involved a lot more in their stuff. So as far as basketball and stuff was concerned, I took a little bit of time off for sure. I didn't want to dive right back in. But like anything else in life, man, you get bored and you want to recreate some of that creativity and that competitiveness. And so got into college coaching. And really, to be honest with you, college coaching and agency can kind of align. You're doing the same things, just not the coaching part of it. But I'm still training the kids. I'm on the floor with the kids. So it's a dope life to have right now for sure.
Yeah. So the college coaching, that the famous viral clip of you just cooking everyone on Memphis at 40 years old, that had to feel good. If people didn't see it, this is obviously a Division I, very good college team, and showing the levels to it. Mike Miller's, you've been out of the game for a couple of years. You're 40 years old, and it was not even close. You were just dominating them one-on-one. Yeah. Were you like, yeah, this is awesome to show them, like, this is what the level is. This is what you got to get to.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's when you're ex-player or anything you've done in the past, and young kids are trying to get there, they talk a lot of shit to you. You know what I mean? So at some point you gotta fight back.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's fun to be able to do that. Obviously, I can't do it anymore, but those guys are continue to get better. But yeah, that was fun, and I had to make a statement.
Did they look at you different afterwards?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
like they took what you said a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, a little more serious. I think they believed it a little more. I mean, it was an unbelievable honor to be coaching there, because at the end of the day, you're coaching with Penny too, like, right? Like, what are you gonna say to Penny? Unfortunately for some of them kids, they didn't realize how great Penny was. And so, for all the old players, I had to stand up for us at least once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to the trade request thing, because I think you thought I was going to ask you about LeBron. So I will ask you about LeBron now. Mm-hmm. What was that like, asking LeBron if it was okay if you got traded? Is that how it went down? Where you're like, hey,
Brian,
or did he just like insert himself after the fact when he was like, hey, just so you guys know, I told Mike it was okay if he wanted to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, is it cool if I get traded? Yeah. What we're gonna do here? No, it's next question.
Okay. What was the difference between LeBron in Miami and then Cleveland? Because you played with him both times. Was it? Could you tell a difference? Because it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like Dwayne Wade. It was obviously LeBron is LeBron, but he was going to a place where it was Dwayne Wade's team franchise, and then he goes back to Cleveland. It's more his team, more his franchise. Could you notice that? Could you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, going back there, having the success I had in Miami, you could see it. I was 1 year removed. I went and played Memphis for 1 year, then went with him to Cleveland. And so when I got back there, even that year though, like, you could see the energy of himself, especially coming back to Cleveland. You could see where he's at. It felt like he had something to prove again. But his game had changed too, right? Like those 3 years or 4 years I played with him in Miami, unbelievable athleticism. So people would always ask me, like, how much more time does Bron got? And at that time, even when I was in Cleveland, I said he probably got 2 or 3 more years at this level. And he just keeps reinventing the shit. So it's like, now it's like I don't even want to answer the question no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's a 40% 3-point shooter, and he's efficient as hell, and if you look at his numbers across the board, there was like MVP numbers in Miami.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know how to answer the question, but there was definitely differences. You could see the athleticism come down a little bit, but it was still like freakishly athletic, right? So, but his mind and the way he approached stuff, you could tell came from some of that Miami stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I heard a story that he used to lose weight during games when he was on the Heat. Is that true?
Man, I'll tell you the greatest story, and I've said this.
I screwed that up. The story is that LeBron would gain weight during games. He'd weigh in before and then afterwards.
Yeah,
which
I'll tell you a
sounds
crazy story. We did weight body fat in Miami. This is game, God, I want to say it's 6. Might be off on the game, sorry. At home against Indiana in the playoffs. Weight body fat's always on Thursday in Miami. And I think this game landed on Thursday. So he does his weight body fat. And he weighed in that day before the game at like 267 maybe. I might be off on the weight, but the story is the same. He goes and plays. It's an overtime game, I'm almost positive, and he has ridiculous numbers. And he don't use a towel, man. Like when you watch him on the bench, he's got like these little wipes. He like don't sweat, doesn't do anything. Plays, I think, 40, like almost 50 minutes because it's an overtime game. He weighed like 6 pounds heavier.
That's crazy.
After the game. And that's why he's a test tube baby. He's not real.
Yeah, that isn't real. That's crazy. And I mean, just the fact that he was weighing 267 to begin with, and then playing like that is crazy. I mean, we joke about LeBron a lot because, let's be honest, he gives us some material to work with.
Yeah, he's fun to joke about.
He's fun to joke about, but at the end of the day, what he's done in the NBA is just absolutely incredible to still be at this level.
It's unbelievable, and it's like I said, they were worried about him, cramping and body weight, and he'd gain weight like during the games. Like, it's not human. So what you guys are saying is 100%. Like what he's been able to sustain and do. I saw him at the game in Memphis not too long ago, and the way he's prepping and doing stuff for the game is why it's like if I bring a young kid, it's like that's it. You know what I mean? Like he puts so much time in his body to be able to do this, and obviously he gets hurt last game of the year, but to do this for as long as he has, it's unbelievable.
Well, now he has his greatest test of all time. He's got to make Luka not fat. Do you think he will?
It's a good question.
This is like LeBron's done it all, but can he do the one thing no one's been able to do?
That's a great question. He said that's a great
It is a
question.
great question. I know you were about to say it, so I just said it first.
Yeah.
We're finishing other sentences already. It's crazy.
I think Luka's 100% dialed in. I think you're going to see a different Luka. I do. I think you're going to see Luka. I think
You
Luka
think
has-
he's 100% dialed in, or you think he's more like 275% dialed in?
I think Luka has a lot to prove. I think
he does.
He has a lot to prove. I think he knows that, and he's being around Luka the little bit that I have. Super competitive. I think he comes back in elite shape next year.
As an agent, and you're obviously in the league circles, was the Luka trade as shocking to you in the moment as it was to everyone else?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't see it, right? You don't. And as an agent, what it does is it puts you on your P's and Q's, because if you can trade Luka, you can trade anybody, right?
Anyone. Right.
So you can't get comfortable.
That's true.
And so obviously everyone was shocked by it. And for anything to happen in the NBA, and you guys know this, is like, for no one to know about it before it happens is almost impossible.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were able to pull that off and do that stuff with no one knowing about it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone saw that one coming.
Yeah.
I think he will be locked in. I think he's going to – there were a lot of things that were said about Luke, and he'll go back and he'll watch how he played in the playoffs, and he'll see what everybody else saw and be like, there's some things I need to get better at, conditioning, defense. And I think he'll probably work at all that stuff. You in particular, I'm sure you worked a ton, like having a stroke like that. What was your workout routine that you would put yourself through to make sure that you dialed in?
I did the same thing. I was boring. I did the same thing every day for basically 35 years. But it was the same routine, and it was every day I would at least make 1,000 shots. But as I grew in the league and you started understanding, like, your off season's about, yes, getting better, but once you've played long enough, you know where your shots are coming from. So now mastering those shots, right? Like, and that's what I would say for every young kid. There's probably one guy on the floor on a team that can dictate and do a lot of the creative shit. But for the rest of them, you know where your shots are coming from, and you know how many you're going to get. So the biggest thing for me was just dialing into that, because if you're going to get, when I was in Miami, for example, if I was going to get 3 or 4 or 5 threes, I had to make 3 of them.
Right.
And so you had to put pressure on yourself, and you had to do it in a training a way to put pressure on yourself. So, like, for all these kids, man, it's understanding where you're at now, where you want to be, but how do I get playing time now? And so my routines were always the same. Once I knew who I was, I just dialed into it.
Was it a lot harder to transition to, like, the veteran spot where it's like, hey, I'm only getting 5 shots a night? Like, this is now – because if you shoot 15 times a night, you can miss some. You're going to miss some. But if you shoot 5, you got, like you said, you got to make 3. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah, it was going to Miami was one of the toughest things, and we talked about it, we joked about it. Obviously, the big 3 signs there, and they talk about winning all these championships and put the pressure on us to do it. But the sacrifices that a lot of people had to make, not just financial, but playing and style, and it was new for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't, I'm not sitting here saying it was great, but we had different roles on different teams, and when you went there, my role was completely different, right? And my shots went down. There was less pick and roll, ball's not in your hands as much, so you don't get that feel in the rhythm of a game. So I literally trained myself, because I got sick of it. I get 3 or 4 threes. I get on that treadmill and run for 5 minutes, jump off and shoot 1 shot. Treadmill, run for 5 minutes, jump off and shoot 1 shot, because that's what my life was. I was running corner to corner, being kind of a glue dude and making shots for these guys to give LeBron, D-Wade, and CB their space. You know what I mean? So, and I got sick of the ball getting hit in my hands and getting ready to shoot, and the cold crowd,
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, I'm done with that shit. I'm not going to do that no more. So you got to put pressure on yourself to do that, and that's how you got to train. So, but it's all situational, right? Like, my situation was different there than it was when I played in Washington, which was crazy. My situation was different than it was in Memphis when I played there, or Orlando. So it's all about opportunity and where your situation lies.
What's the most shots you've made in a row in practice?
I made 88 threes one day.
88 in a row?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. 88 threes one day.
So
yep.
if we said right now, like, go out and shoot 100 threes, what would you confidently
plus 80, somewhere in that area?
Still to this day?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's like riding a bike, though. Shooting's like riding a bike.
When you're making 88 threes in a row, are you being critical of yourself if, like, the ball hits the rim when it goes in? Like, that's a bad shot.
Yeah. And I mean, you're never critical of yourself, but, like, you can feel, like, when you shoot as much as, like, when you do something muscle memory for so long, like, you can feel when you're slipping somewhere, right? Like, that's where I try to get these kids now, is like, if you do something long enough or you do it enough, you'll start being able to self-correction. And when you get that thing in a rhythm like that, it's like anything in life, man. It's like when you go to play that softball game tonight, you get your rhythm going, it's a wrap.
Yeah. How good are you at beer pong?
elite beer pong.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, one because I can drink beer really well, so it's like I don't mind losing either.
Yeah. Are you the best South Dakota
Beer drinker? Yeah, probably.
No, I was gonna say athlete ever.
Oh,
Who would be in the running? Was is Dallas Goddard from there?
Yeah,
your
I
boy
think
Vinatieri, isn't he from there?
he's from one of. Yeah, I think Dallas Goddard's from one of the Dakotas.
Athletes.
Brock Lesnar, is he from there?
Yeah. Chad Greenway.
Chad Green, a great football player.
Mark Ellis.
Hunter Lepke.
Mike Miller. You were listed 3 here.
3.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're the best basketball player from South Dakota, right?
I
You have
hope
to
so.
say.
I
Are
hope
you? What were your? Was there stars back when you were coming out of high school?
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate. I was McDonald's All-American. I got to do those things.
So were
I
you
was
5-star?
5-star guy.
Oh yeah. So you're that's
Yeah.
It's not even a question. Jay Novacek. That was, remember him?
Yeah, he's
tight
pretty
end for the Cowboys. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you.
South
Means a lot.
Dakota doesn't
Can we
really
get- can
have
we get-
anything else.
Can we get a trophy from you guys?
Yeah,
A PMT
absolutely.
trophy?
Best
Number one South Dakota.
I need
Yeah.
a PMT trophy to
Yeah.
put in my room.
Yeah.
What was that like going from South Dakota to Florida? Like the level up in competition must have been huge, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I was.
He's talking about the chicks.
Oh, yeah, that was leveling up too. For sure.
No, like, I
One of
like
the bigger reasons I chose that place. We're gonna be.
I like South Dakota women. I do.
Hey, come back with me. We're gonna.
Yeah, they can bale some hay. Yeah, sturdy women.
Yeah. Strong.
Strong.
That's
Strong.
crazy. No, I mean, it was definitely, for me though, I was fortunate. My parents did a lot of sacrifice. They were allowed to play in a lot of these tournaments when I was growing up. So I stepped outside of South Dakota and played in those tournaments to maybe showcase myself a little more. But yeah, I mean, anytime you go from high school level to college level is always leveling up for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in the SEC.
Yeah. All right. So I got a couple questions about the championship years for the Heat.
Yeah.
The famous Ray Allen shot. Did you guys know that the Spurs were dead after that?
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean the reality is like when you play in a league for a long time in moments like that, they had us beat dead in the water. They missed a couple big free throws. We get a couple scramble play, loose balls. Ray hits, an absolutely ridiculous shot. Not just to make that shot, but to stay in bounce and make that shot. But the crazy thing is, I know people. It's been well noted. He said it a lot. He practiced that shot 1,000. It's wildest thing I've ever seen. Like I thought he was like drunk the first time. Like he lays down, gets up, he does the whole deal.
Like backstepping all the way to the
Backpedal,
corner.
everything. Yeah, he does the whole deal. And that's where I tell you, if you're ever going to do anything in life, like you never think you're going to use that shot, but for that moment, it was worth it, right? So
Yeah.
They were in trouble after that. They were in
Yeah.
trouble after that. It's just hard to overcome that, especially at home in Miami. It's tough.
Yeah.
Were you in the air conditioning game?
No, I think that was the year after.
That was the year after.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
They smoked you guys out.
When he cramped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
LeCramp. Yeah,
I
that
was gone. I was in Memphis playing.
was a tough one to watch. We were watching that. We were like, this feels like it's rigged. Like
Yeah.
the NBA, do you think the NBA is rigged?
No, I don't think the NBA rigged, but it's hard for you to ask that question now after the lottery just came out with a 1% chance.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Yep.
That was a make good. That's what we call it in the biz. It's like,
Yeah,
thanks.
I don't think it's rigged, but I ain't got a whole lot of ground to stand on after the draft lottery the other day. But I still believe it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they did say not like 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, 7 championships, you talk about some of the pressure that it put on you.
Yeah.
Was there like a group chat on the side? It's like, holy shit, what did they just sign us up for?
You didn't even need to have a group chat. Everyone felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man, when we lost that first year in Dallas, and then you go on the next year and you can just feel the pressure because at the end of the day, they're more than likely going to keep the 3. Mm-hmm. They're going to make ultimate change if we don't win the following year.
Yep.
We go down, I think I know we are. We're down 3-2 going into Boston. And you can, at the end of that, first of all, the greatest game I've ever seen of one individual play, LeBron in that game, was unbelievable. But if we don't win that series, like none of us are ever in Miami except for those 3 guys. Probably we're all out of there. Mm-hmm. So like when you were done with that season, it wasn't the physical exhaustion; it was the mental exhaustion that was done. Because it's like we didn't get to. For me personally, I wouldn't even like a celebration. It was like, fuck, thank God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we won because there was so much pressure on us.
Yeah.
Was there more pressure from that statement of wanting to win 7, or just having Pat Riley around all the time, just like observing everything?
Probably the Godfather.
Yeah. So what's he like to work with? Because he seems like, I mean, a guy that he's got enormous amount of respect from a lot of guys that have played.
The
for
absolute
him.
greatest, because you know where he stands at all times. There's no sugarcoating anything.
Yeah.
Like in life, all you want to know is where you stand. And with him, it's easy. He's got principles, and if you don't reach those things, you're out. It doesn't matter who you are. Mm-hmm. So it's why he's able to create a culture that he's been able to create there. And all you want, like I said, is just, okay, where you stand, all right, cool. I know how I got to go do my job. I do my job. You'll appreciate and respect me for it.
Yeah.
And he's the best at that.
Do you think he stole LeBron's cookies? Do you know that story?
Yes.
Okay. And do you think it
D-Wade
happened?
just told that story.
Yeah. Do you think it happened?
He might have stole his cookies.
Yeah, I think he stole his cookies.
It's disrespectful, honestly.
Yeah, you can't steal another man's cookies.
I appreciate what Pat Riley's done for the sport, but at the end of the day,
steal the guy's cookies.
man to man, let him eat dessert.
Yeah. Did you guys, when you guys were starting off with it, did you know? Was there a moment where you're like, "Oh, Spo, this guy can coach"? Like, did it click? Because he was young, and there was definitely some conversations of like, "Oh, can he handle this? Should Pat Riley come back down?" That whole thing.
The one thing I love about Spo, I love about that organization, is they let people be who they are. Spo.
Well, I mean, they don't let him eat cookies. But yeah, okay, keep going. Like,
outside of the cookies, they pretty much no. But I'm saying like Spo had they're so aligned that Spo could be who he wanted to be. Right? He didn't have to be like someone that was for like they were so aligned in their journey and what they wanted to do. Spo, the thing that I respect about Spo is he was young and people questioned him. Obviously, at that age, getting that team. About how he coached, and he did it his own. He did it his way, right?
Yeah.
And he coached the way he wanted to coach, and was loud and proud about it, right? And so I knew at that point he was going to be just fine, because the hardest thing in those things is losing the locker room by being kind of soft, and he wasn't. He was as tough as he wanted to be.
yeah.
I'm sure getting results that helps too, right?
That
Like
definitely,
when it proves that he can win, that his way will lead you to winning basketball games. Then
Absolutely.
it's like, okay, yeah, I'll go where you tell me to go.
And he was so dialed in and organized, like that gets respect out of basketball players that understand how to play and the preparation of things. Once you see him putting the time in, your respect goes up. And he put all the time in the world. He was so organized and was so dialed into everything we did.
So towards the end of your career, you played with the Nuggets.
Yes.
What was your first impression of Jokic?
I thought he was the best basketball player in the world.
That's it?
Yeah. I'll give you a funny little story. I get traded from Cleveland to Portland. At this time, I'm representing myself. I do a buyout from Portland, and I go to the Nuggets. I'm 3 days late for camp. So I get there, and I'm sitting at the practice. I don't practice today. Coach Malone and the Kroenke family just tell me, and Tim Connolly, who's now with the Minnesota Timberwolves, said just sit and watch this one. So I watched it, and at the end of the practice, they asked me, so what'd you think? I said, I don't know who that fat, ugly kid is over there, but he's your best player, and it's not even close.
And is this rookie
This
Jokic?
is Taco Bell rookie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did everybody miss about him? If it was like obvious to you,
I've never seen. I mean, obviously, listen. He at that time he had flaws, right? Like his body wasn't great. He's not a. If you look at his old combine stuff or Hoop Summit stuff, it's like I don't jump high. But I've never seen a young kid like the ball hit his hands like the Matrix. Like shit just stops.
Right.
And the game's slow for him. For all young kids, the game's super fast and out of control. And that's why they make so many mistakes and why veteran coaches don't play him. But the ball hit his hands and everyone got better. Like if you see guys that play in that system, ultimately they get paid. Ultimately, they go do certain things, and then they go somewhere else. And it's him. It's a Matrix effect. It's a Joker effect.
Yeah.
what was he like as a teammate?
The best, absolute best.
Yeah.
Like it's he didn't speak great English. It was broken English. But at the beginning, now it's just. But he's hilarious, and his brothers are great too. I mean, everyone talks about it. They're the best. And,
Yeah.
And Joker can do whatever he wants because he got those big guys behind him. They ain't doing
Yeah,
nothing.
great bodyguards.
Yeah.
For sure. Are you still a wild animal guy?
I am.
What do you own right now?
I got a raccoon and a fox.
You have a raccoon? Foxes I can see. I've heard that you can like domesticate foxes within like 2 generations.
Right.
And they'll be like your best friends.
Yeah.
Raccoons are adorable. Did you see the meth raccoon the other day?
No.
It was a cop. It was a cop in Florida that was. They were arresting somebody. They go up to the door of the minivan, open it up, and there's a raccoon. Her pet raccoon is sitting there hitting a meth pipe in his adorable little paws. It was the most
adorable little paws.
Yeah,
So Florida.
It was the most Florida story of all time. How did you become a crazy animal guy?
My wife is just as crazy as I am, so we love animals, and so whenever one gets brought into like the pet place or whatever, someone turns one in. Like the raccoon was like 2 days old, 3 days old or whatever.
Yeah.
Got turned in, and the vet will call us and say, we got this, and of course we'll take it on. We'll do it. We're idiots.
What are their names?
So Coco is a raccoon, and Roxy is the fox. My daughter named him.
So
Great names.
no more monkeys.
No more monkeys, no.
We learned our lesson?
Yeah, the monkey.
No, that was awesome. I love that pet.
What happened?
Smarter than every one of my friends, period.
What happened with the monkeys at the end? They just
No,
you got yelled at by your neighbors for having
I
the
got
monkeys.
cussed at by a lot of stuff.
Yeah, riding the dogs.
Yeah. But at the end, so me and my wife went out and we put Sonny up in a room. We had 2 Great Danes at the time. Sonny came down, let the 2 Great Danes in, and then opened the front door. And we're at dinner, and we got calls from the neighborhood, HOA, like, hey, your monkey's riding your dogs around the neighborhood. But at the end of it, we had my oldest son. We had our oldest son at the time, and the Sonny, the monkey, was getting very, very attached to us. And so it was the best that we gave it away at the time. So.
Yeah.
But he was literally, like, honestly, and I mean this sincerely, like, I had 3 friends living with me at the time, was better IQ than all 3 of them.
Yeah,
and I'll go get you a beer.
What's that like, raising a monkey? Because they're so smart. Like the great thing about raising some dogs, I like big dumb dogs. And as a Great Dane guy, you know how they can be sometimes. They're easy to trick.
Yeah.
But with a monkey, you can't trick a monkey.
No, you're not tricking them at all.
No.
And they're super fast, and they I mean, you can't keep up with them. Like, he'd jump in the aquarium, like, it was nuts. It was fun though. But yeah, they're, like I said, they're smarter than most of my friends. It was wild.
Was he actually riding the dogs?
It was ride the Great Dane all the time. Like, sit on like it's unboulible.
That's incredible.
I gotta send video. I have video.
That's so funny. What outside of LeBron? Actually, outside of LeBron, Wade, Bosch, those Heat teams. Who is the best player you played with? You had a lot of teammates. Joker, that's it.
Joker. I think Joker. If Joker does this early, I think Joker goes down as like one of the best players of all time.
Yeah,
if not the best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You also played with 8 other Mikes. Can you name them all?
Mike Bibby.
Okay, that's one.
Did I play Mike Bibby?
Yeah, you played with Mike
Florida,
Bibby.
Miami. Yeah. Mike Conley.
Yep. This is where it's gonna get tough.
I played so many teams.
Yeah.
So bad they just kicked me out everywhere.
You had 2 on the Wizards.
2 on the Wizards.
Yeah. These are tough names.
Who is it?
Mike Harris and Mike James.
Oh, Mike James, yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Mike Batiste.
Oh, Mike Batiste.
I guess it was 7 because Mikel Gladness. He's not a Mike.
No, he's not.
And then Michael Doliak.
Oh, Big Dolly. That was
Yeah.
rookie,
And Michael Dickerson.
Oh, Michael Dickerson.
You had a lot of
nice,
Mikes.
Michael Dickerson was good, by the way.
When a Mike would come in, were you like, hey, I'm the Mike?
Yeah, come on, us. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Like, come on,
by the
dude.
way, what are we calling this guy here?
Yeah, right. You can't be Mike. I'm Mike.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You were talking about the Wizards being a wild time in your career. What is it about the Wizards that it felt like that was a very chaotic point?
Well, that was the year
franchise.
that Gil brought the guns in.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just had him on.
We had him on.
Yeah.
He told
Oh,
us,
I gotta watch that story. Did he tell it? Did he tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
well, we don't know. He told his truth.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Were you in the locker room?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
Can you tell
so
us his truth? What did he say? I love Gil, by the way.
So he said he brought in 2 guns and then put a tag on it that said pick one.
Pick one. Yeah,
Yep.
I think it was more than 2, but pick one was definitely there.
Yeah.
And he said that his gun was never loaded.
Okay.
And that Crittenden's gun might have been loaded.
Yeah.
And that the reason why Crittenden got the big punishment that he got was because Gilbert Arenas had been technically trafficking guns and weapons across
Arizona.
the country
Yeah.
from Arizona whenever he'd fly back. So they asked him, have you ever brought this on a team plane? And he had a bunch of guns that he was flying back to D.C. with. And in D.C., you're not allowed to have any guns. It's like it's a felony if you get caught with a handgun in D.C. So he says that he kind of had to get this big punishment because he was trafficking weapons. That was his explanation. Your thoughts?
So no, that part I know nothing about. That's news to me there. The story of him bringing the guns in, saying pick one, 100% true.
Okay.
100%.
So what were you sitting in the locker room when he comes in?
I was literally on the taping table, getting ready. Javaris walked in. They had a little like beef on the airplane about cards. Don't have practice the next day. Following day, they come in. JC comes in. I said, hey, Javaris, no matter what happens, man, like, leave it. I think it's over, but leave it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not winning this one as Gil.
Right.
Like, it's a franchise dude, right? Like, you're not winning this one. Gil walks in, I think it's more than 2, but it's 2. We'll go with 2 today.
Yeah.
He puts them on. He puts it on Javaris's chair. I'm looking dead at it, and writes a note. Says, "Pick one." And I see Javaris coming out of the cold, so I say, "Hey man, leave that shit alone, bro."
Yeah.
And then it went sideways.
Yeah. Did you leave the?
Oh yeah, exit step. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to get out of there.
Yeah. I didn't want to see the ending of that one.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I watched the Netflix the documentary about it.
Yeah.
Was Gilbert, like, my biggest takeaway from all of it is, like, Gilbert Arenas loved to fuck with people, and he kind of didn't know where the line was.
Yeah. He was definitely a line stepper.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, and if you know who he is, like, you laugh about it, but there's like that's a little bit over the line, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Especially when you're telling a guy to pick one.
Right.
And I think Javaris said something like, "Yo, I don't need one. I got my own." I
Right.
think that's what it said, and that's where I left.
Yeah.
But yeah, he liked to play with people, and Gil was an awesome teammate.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
liked to push it.
Yes, and
Yeah.
when you know he got on your nerves, it was like, "Yeah, I got you, bro."
Yeah.
I heard that Deshaun Stevenson had an ATM in his house,
He did.
so that when people would come over to party for various reasons why you might need an ATM.
What do you think I needed it for?
Yeah, he had an ATM in his house. What was the service charge on that he was making off
You know
you
what?
guys?
I'm sure it's quite a bit, but I was never invited to those ones, so I don't know.
I would imagine it was like $20.
Probably.
$20 service charge.
It makes sense, wouldn't it?
Making
Yeah.
money any way you can. Yeah.
How were you at cards on the plane?
I didn't play cards.
You didn't?
No.
You never got into any of the games?
I watch those guys play Boo-Ray all the time, but I didn't play.
Why not? It's fun.
You know what? I just never did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I used to tell all the young kids that they're like, "Yo, like, who doesn't fit at that table?"
Yeah.
I used to get Mario Chalmers. I used to wear him out, bro. I'm like, you got Bron, D. Wade, Juwan Howard, who's played 864 years, Ray Allen, and you as a really second-year guy in the league.
Yeah.
Like I call it, like Juwan's nickname was really like 17. He was a 17th year in the league, like, and made hundreds and hundreds. And you got you, Rio,
Yeah.
playing boo, and you getting booed all the time. like I'll never forget it. Rashard Lewis, who made $250 too, man, was awesome. Like literally picked up a check from Rio and went and bought a truck from him and drove by Rio the next day and was like, "Yo, thanks for the whip."
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's some serious stuff.
That's incredible.
So getting into the league as a rookie, I'm sure you can provide some insight to the
Yeah.
players that you represent too now.
Yeah.
Like the transition between being a college star
Yeah.
and then what you expect when you get into the league. Were you nervous before your first game? Were you wondering if you could fit in there?
Yeah, I mean, you're always like, listen, every time when you go from high school to college, whatever it is, whenever you're leveling up on anything, like there's that anticipation of, yes, I know I put the time and the effort and the work in, but now how's it going to carry over? Because you've seen this on TV and you've seen all these guys, and you know, when I stepped on the floor, you know, it's a little bit different now, but it's obviously still the same. But the league was old, man. Like my teammates were like Pat Ewan and Sean Kemp, and you know what I mean, like guys that are like, now you're getting 4 rookies every year. You know what I mean? Like it's just so I've seen these guys since I was 13, 12, 11, 9 years old on TV. You know what I mean? And so you're stepping out like, oh shit, this is real.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you're always that anxiety, that nervousness. You know you put the work in, but now I got to go show it on this stage, and it's definitely an unbelievable feeling. But there's some nerve-wracking shit to it for sure.
Yeah. What's the best game you ever played?
Just because of the outcome, it's the 7 threes and where I was at in the game 6 against OKC.
Yeah.
Just because where I was at mentally and physically at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, just playing in the games, probably 45 against Golden State if you're looking at those.
Ooh, that probably felt good.
Yeah, but just the stage and what I was able to do for on the NBA Finals was it just takes the cake. It just has to.
Yeah, especially like winning the finals. You don't want to be someone who's like wasn't
exactly
participating,
right.
and then you have that game where you went 7 for 8,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Which one did you miss? Did you? Was
I
it in the middle?
I missed one in the second half, which I shouldn't have missed. It was a good. I had plenty of time to make it. I don't know why I missed it, but missed it.
That's got to be such an awesome feeling. Yeah. Did you tell everyone in the huddle like, "Hey, just keep like I got this"? No.
I was just thankful to be out there because my back was so jacked up at that time. I didn't even I was just happy to be a part of the game. Really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What's it like being in the zone?
The best. It's the greatest feeling ever. Like I had a stretch. I don't know if it's what it was, but I had like 3 or 4 games in a row. I made 9 threes at each game, and as you get that rhythm going, it's like anything else, man. You just like anytime you shoot it, you think it's going in.
Did you just keep the same routine day to day? It's
Every
like
time.
whatever I'm doing right now, I'm not
doing
going
the
to
same
change.
thing. Everything.
Not-
to what I ate, to what I showed up in. Yeah.
I can't shower.
Exactly.
I got good sweat on me right now.
That's gotta be an
Exactly
incredible
right.
feeling.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Have you ever shown up at like a men's run, like a pickup game, and not said, "Hey, I'm Mike," and just kind of blended in for a little bit, and then got out there and just punished everybody?
No, but I'm about to because I'm getting to that age now where Lifetime Fitness got my name on it. Like I gotta go get some runs in.
That would be the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I might come in here. What days we running here?
Fridays.
Every Friday.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that would be fun. It
gonna
wouldn't.
have to.
I mean, it wouldn't be fun for us.
I'd like-
It'd be- I'd be
Are
fun
we
to
live
watch.
streaming? Are we live streaming?
We can.
I'd lock
Mike
you down.
Miller kicks
lock me
our
down?
ass.
Yeah. I'd be in your shirt. You can go. I'd be in your chest like bronchitis.
You would get fouled hard, and
Yeah, I
you'd just
love
be
it.
like, "I'm
I
not
love
doing
it.
this anymore. I do not want to be a part of this." Yeah, you still like if you said you can't do it anymore, but like the Memphis video, you were cooking those guys.
Yeah,
Could
yeah.
you still like what level of college basketball could you still take everyone on the team or conference?
I mean, you're like if you're putting me in a mid-major situation, we're gonna have to have some ground rules, right?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna have to be like 3 dribble. Like I'm not gonna be chasing these dudes around now. Like
Right.
but if you do 3 dribble, make it take it type stuff, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good about like most levels. But just like the athlete side gets me a little nervous because I know I'm gonna play off my jumper a lot now.
Yeah,
I can't
right.
move. So
Right.
Is there anybody in the game right now that reminds you of you?
Well, good question. Steph Curry.
no, Steph was so fucking good. Gosh damn. I don't know.
They don't make them like you anymore.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Jack Golke.
Jack,
You remember
by the way.
Golke?
What a story that was, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the man.
Yeah,
He is the man.
Where's he at now?
I think he was playing in the Detroit G League, I want to say.
Yeah.
He came in the office and hung out with us after.
Really?
that. Yeah. He watched some games with us the Sweet 16 weekend
dope.
after they got bounced. Yeah, I mean we basically just sit around and watch you guys play basketball all the time. It's pretty fun.
So good.
It's a pretty good life.
So good.
All right, I got one last question. It's a
All right.
rollback question. RHOBACK.com. Promo code TAKE, 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Rollback.com, promo code TAKE. So we were talking about Lyft, you being an agent, basketball, media, everything. Is there anyone on your team that you want to shout out, like anyone who like played at Providence or anything?
Oh, yeah. Did he play there?
Yeah, he did play there.
How many years?
4, all 4.
Did he
Yeah.
score at all or no?
Yeah, he was scorer.
Yeah, he tells me all these stories. I gotta see footage. But
Yeah, we're talking about Donnie McGrath. He
Donald.
didn't score in the TBT final when we needed him to score.
Let's talk about that though.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, like
No problem.
we always give him his flowers, and Donnie thinks he's a big guy right now. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is. But let's
Yeah,
talk about.
did you see Donnie partying with Team USA
Yeah, it's
after
elite.
Paris?
I mean,
yeah,
the guys
that was awesome.
guys everywhere. But
It was like Tatum, LeBron, all these guys coming out of the club, and then it's Donnie McGrath.
the guy absolutely shows up everywhere. But the second half of the TBT championship. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. We were counting our money. It was a problem. We were counting our money.
I would have loved to see that, but y'all
Oh
smoked
man,
it.
it was bad. It was bad. It was. I don't want to point fingers. I don't think Donnie had his best night shooting. Andre Barrett did get his pocket picked like 5 times in a row. Josh Boone didn't feel like he really wanted to be there. It was a bad scene.
How much would y'all have won?
I think the players would have won. Well, technically I was a player. I think it was like 50 grand each, and then maybe Dave and I were going to win 25 grand each, and we were going to spend it all on the club that night. And Dave had it all set up. Like,
I mean, that should have been motivation enough for old McGrath.
You thought it was.
He thrives in those situations.
It should have been there, yeah. And it was a bad scene. Yeah, we choked.
Did you get any points?
I did not get any. I scored in the tournament.
That's good.
I scored, I think 4 points in the tournament.
Okay.
That was in a blowout game in the second round. They put us in, but yeah, I did not get any minutes in the final game when that much money was at stake. Yeah. Well, all right. So seriously though, on the agency thing, like, what's the next step? Like, are you just what's the process of getting guys like into your? How are you differentiating? How are you like, hey? Like Paulo was probably a huge step for you guys.
Massive.
Yeah. So like, how do you convince someone like that you're the person that they should be entrusting?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you do it through track record, right? The fact that I played 17 years and lived through it. When we first started Lift, it was about building something that these other agents be like these other agencies, but be basketball led and be different like that, right? That they can't be like us, but we can be like them, and we continue to do that. So we continue to build infrastructure and invest in our infrastructure, build out people, build like a basketball team, star in your roles, between marketing, servicing, all those things, but be basketball led. Because at the end of the day, how good you are at basketball makes everyone else's job easier, right? So like the way we differentiate ourselves is that we're basketball driven, and so we do it through our track record. Obviously, Paolo, has a lot of credit for starting this for us, because getting him going number one and now seeing where he's at and be able to do his contracts. So you start seeing that we're capable of these things and seeing what we do and how we service them. But for us, it's just continue to build this thing and be a big player in this game.
Yeah,
All right.
that's awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
We're big fans.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and anytime you're in the city, you need a court, or you need us to
Gas up one of your
beat
players?
you.
Yeah, only one favor I have is I need my pardon my take, South Dakota's best athlete award.
We will make a plaque.
Thank you.
Max
We'll put
is
it
gonna
up.
make
Yeah,
that.
we will
you.
put a plaque in this studio.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
The Mike Miller corner. And then, but just so you know, if there is if someone awesome comes out of South Dakota, it is.
Yeah, it's up for
It's
grabs.
100%.
We'll vote
it's not
on
a
it.
lifetime.
Yeah, yes,
We'll
yes.
vote on it every year just to make sure it's still
I think we
current.
should. I think we should.
All right, still Mike? Okay, cool.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks.
Mike Miller was brought to you by our good friends over at Chevy. For over a century, Chevy has been building trucks that don't flinch and they never quit. If you're hauling lumber on the job or trying to get the smoker, the cooler, the cornhole boards, and the whole crew to the tailgate on time, Chevy gets you there. When Chevy says most dependable truck, they're not just speculating. Chevy trucks have earned more dependability awards for trucks than any other brand, according to J.D. Power 2025. Sounds like they've got the stats to prove it. You can draft yours at Chevy.com. In every truck, dependability comes standard. For more on Chevy trucks, visit Chevy.com and visit jdpower.com/awards for more award details. And now here's our very good friend, Randy Moss.
Okay, we now welcome on one of our favorite guests, very, very, very special guest. It is Randy Moss, ahead of the Preakness this weekend. And unfortunately, it's a bummer of a Preakness, and we want to start with that, Randy. Sovereignty, who won the Kentucky Derby, incredible race, will not be racing at Pimlico on Saturday. This sucks for horse racing, Randy. And I don't know if you have a spin on it or what exactly happened, but this sucks. How did this happen? Why did this happen? And how can we stop this from happening?
Well, you and I have talked about this before in the past. The horse is fine. The horse is actually in great shape. But trainer Bill Mott, the owners, Godolphin, don't want to run the horse back in 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby, which is the ultimate stress test for racehorses. They feel like that the horse needs more time to recuperate for safety reasons, for the horse's health and well-being, and also for performance reasons, because they think the horse will run better with more time in between races. It's a very familiar mantra right now. If the trainer were Todd Pletcher, we'd be seeing the same thing, in my opinion. If it were Brad Cox, we'd be saying the same thing. It's going to happen more and more frequently in the future until such time as the Triple Crown races become further apart on the calendar.
So do you think that that's the primary factor, or do you think that the financial implications have something to do with it, where it's like your horse won the Kentucky Derby, that's a massive, massive thing for, breeding into the future. Is there just downside now to running again, maybe not performing as well, and just trying to maximize the value of the racehorse?
It's totally the calendar. Totally the calendar. But they're going to run him in the Belmont Stakes. And after the Belmont Stakes, they'll probably point him for the Travers. And after the Travers, they'll get another race and point him for the Breeders' Cup Classic. So he'll run more this year as a 3-year-old. Yes, his value is improved after the Kentucky Derby. But the Preakness is a classic. The Preakness is an American tradition in the sport. There is plenty of value to a horse in winning the Preakness Stakes, even a horse that just won the Kentucky Derby. But they think it is counterproductive to bring him back in just 2 weeks. Look, back in the heyday of the Triple Crown, okay, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, There was no problem running these horses back in 2 weeks. And as a matter of fact, there were a couple of Preakness winners, 1959 and 1960. Okay, they finished second in the Kentucky Derby. Then they come back 2 weeks later and they win the Preakness with the race in between, with the race on Monday of Preakness week called the Preakness Prep. So back then, it was normal, for example, for horses, the 1, 2, 3 finishers in the Kentucky Derby to all come back and run in the Preakness. Sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Derby would all come back and run in the Preakness. Now you almost never see that. And it's really cheapened the Triple Crown as a whole because that's the way horses are trained nowadays. And that's why the schedule needs to be adjusted. And I think it will, not immediately, not next year, but maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. I think that's probably what you're going to see.
So this isn't new to the rest of sports. This is something that we complain about all the time, whether it be NBA load management, whether it be Major League Baseball, pitchers, only pitching, 6 innings and getting pulled earlier than they used to and not going over 100 pitches. So you think the solution and what will happen is the calendar will change, not potentially like the NBA, for example, where they made it, hey, you have to play this many games to be eligible for the postseason awards. Is there any chance they're like, hey, if you run the Kentucky Derby, you have to, unless there's an injury, you have to run the Preakness if you win the Kentucky Derby? Or is that kind of like, hey, that's going to open up a can of worms of health of the horse? It's going to be the calendar changing instead.
Yeah, that's going to open up a can of worms. What you're referring to, like the load management thing and the baseball innings pitched and things like that, that's the performance issue. And there's part of that going on in thoroughbred racing, right? Todd Pletcher, for example, one of the best trainers in the business. He runs horses back nowadays on 2 weeks rest or less, 0.4% of the time. And the reason why? It's health of the horse, but also he has a 21% win percentage overall. When he runs horses back in 2 weeks or less, 5%. Right. Same thing with Bill Mott. Almost exactly the same statistics with Bill Mott, the trainer of Sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
But it's primarily it's the problem here is it's performance based. It's also horse safety because they've done plenty of studies that show that horses are less inclined to become injured with more time in between races to recuperate. And let's face it, the Kentucky Derby is the ultimate stress test in horse racing for 3-year-olds. But it's the health of the Triple Crown as a whole really is the bottom line. And this sport is not what it used to be. Everybody knows that. But it still has the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown is still a huge event. It's by far the most important thing horse racing has, the Triple Crown and the Breeders' Cup. And it's been cheapened because all the good horses that run in the Derby that used to come back and run in the Preakness doesn't really happen nearly as often anymore. And now you're seeing the Derby winners start to skip the Preakness. Something's got to be done.
Yeah, and it really is like I love horse racing, and I understand the dilemma here because you don't want to have breakdowns and horses get injured because that is bad for the sport. But the Triple Crown means something, and it's supposed to be really hard, and that's kind of why it's special if you get a horse winning the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, and then the Belmont becomes a huge, huge event. It's kind of like last year when we talked about Flightline, one of my favorite horses I've ever seen run, and I got to see Flightline in person. Flightline was incredible, ran, 6 races, and then was studded. Like, that's the best athletes in this sport don't run enough, so it stinks.
Yeah, I mean, you love horse racing. There's nothing bigger in sports in general than rivalries. Okay. And we used to see when the same horses that ran 1, 2, 3 in the Derby come back and run in the Preakness and then come back sometimes and run in the Belmont. You get these rivalries like Affirmed and Aladar and Easy Goer and Sunday Silence and Ali Sheba and Bet Twice. And it really captures the public's imagination to see these horses run against each other throughout the Triple Crown, which is what the Triple Crown is supposed to be all about. Now, in 2025, 2026, if Affirmed and Aladar run 1, 2 in the Kentucky Derby, Aladar skips the Preakness and waits for the Belmont. Easy Goer skips the Preakness and waits for the Belmont. Bet Twice, same thing. you lose the rivalry aspect of it, which is one of the things that has made the Triple Crown so great historically.
Has anybody checked with the horses to see if they want to run? Like, is this like a bad week?
Great
like,
question.
You think that maybe Sovereignty is like, hey, I want to get out there and compete. That's the mark of a champion. Do some horses get uneasy if they don't race?
It would be really nice if horses could talk and tell us that. They try to with the way they act and all that, which is part of the reason why trainers don't like to run them back in 2 weeks. They think that the horses, after such a race like the Kentucky Derby, they think what they're seeing in the horse is trying to tell them that they run better, that they like it better when they're given a little extra time in between races to bounce back.
There was a report out there that maybe Sovereignty got fat and that he got complacent, and that's why he didn't want to race in this. Have you heard anything about that? Like, is he too fat for the Preakness?
He started reading his press clippings. Huh?
Yeah.
He said, no. I don't need to run back in 2 weeks. No.
Yeah.
No, there are some horses here, right? Journalism finished second in Kentucky Derby. Sandman was the second choice. They were the top two favorites in the Derby. They're both coming back in the Preakness. Right. This is, you can't see him now. That's Sandman's stall. I think he's out maybe walking around here.
Sandman is a beautiful horse.
Yeah.
Sandman is a beautiful horse. Yeah.
Do you think, by the way, the Kentucky Derby?
Here, hang on just a second.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
We got Sandman?
One. Oh, nice.
I just got waved in.
Oh, let's go.
There he is.
Exclusive. That's a great looking horse.
That's
a great
Sandman.
horse.
Thick.
Look at
that
him.
is Sandman.
Sturdy. That is a great horse.
Can you boop a horse? Do you ever boop horses?
Not me.
Okay.
Stall,
all right.
Stall 26. There you go.
All right. Hey, good luck, Sandman.
Sandman.
I'm gonna bet on
this
you.
is
Go for it, Sandman.
This is called a jolly ball.
Oh, what do they do?
Horses get bored sometimes, and they like a little activity, So
that's the
they'll
ultimate.
They'll bounce around that jolly ball a little bit and have fun.
Yeah, the horses are like the ultimate dudes. If you just if I had a tennis ball right now and I started tossing myself, eventually PFT would be like, "Yo, throw that to me."
Yeah, just toss it against the wall for a little bit.
Yeah,
make up a game with it.
Thank you, by the way.
I love it.
Right.
Last question about the Kentucky Derby, and then we want to talk picks for this weekend. Okay. I know this doesn't count for anything, but I did bet Baeza in the Kentucky Derby. Do you think if the Kentucky Derby was, let's say, 100 yards longer, Baeza would have won?
I think he would have run second.
Okay, all right, that doesn't help. But I've been convincing myself that. I'm like, I made the right pick. He just ran out of time. He also kind of ran sideways at the end.
It's the great thing about the Kentucky Derby this year is that despite the racetrack, despite the sloppy track and all the rain and all that, it was an incredibly formful race and easy to predict. I mean, we talked about it. I thought Journalism, Baeza, Sovereignty, maybe Sandman fourth, maybe Final Gambit is a big long shot. I think we talked about that. It was really predictable exactly what was going to happen. And wouldn't it be nice to see the top three all back here with Baeza as well to run in the Preakness? But it's a pretty good race despite that.
Yeah,
it would be. You
did win us money.
And you did a great job on the broadcast as well. Is Mike Tirico okay?
Thank you.
I was upset that he had to leave. I'm sure it was probably for some good reason, if he was sick or whatever. Is he doing okay now?
He's doing very well. I just saw him about 5 minutes ago. He suffers from, like a lot of people, from a pretty significant nut allergy. And he ate something, he doesn't even know what, about a half hour, just snacking, about a half hour before he was scheduled to come on at 2:30 p.m. And he began having a pretty serious allergic reaction. I could tell as soon as he sat down next to me that something was off, something was wrong. He's normally real, outgoing and ebullient and positive and let's go. And he was like very serious, like he was upset. And then you could tell as he got into the first couple of segments that he was really, really struggling. And that's a scary thing if you've known anybody that has a nut allergy.
Yeah.
You don't know which direction it's going to go. It can be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Keep your nuts away from Mike Tirico.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the races. Let's talk about Friday, which you can watch Randy on Friday, the Black Eyed Susan. Do you have any, besides the Black Eyed Susan, do you have any picks on Friday or races that you're looking forward to? And then also, what do you have for the Black Eyed Susan?
Nothing on the Friday undercard that I really like that much. Black Eyed Susan. There's a horse in there called Margie's Intention. It's not honestly, it's not a really good black-eyed Susan.
Okay.
In fact, it's one of the worst black-eyed Susans that I've seen in a long time in terms of quality. Because again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the Kentucky Oaks horses, the horsemen don't want to come back and run in 2 weeks. So it's a pretty weak field. But Margie's Intention, trained by Brad Cox, 3-1, 7-2, something like that, I think. And to me, she looks like she's kind of solidly the best horse on paper in there.
Okay. All right, good. And anything else on Saturday?
Yeah, there's a couple of horses on Saturday. If you guys have any money left after I busted you at the Kentucky Derby.
Well, we hit one of the Oaks, right?
Yeah, no, and you did kind of predict, like, if you do an exotic in the Kentucky Derby, you had the horses.
I was okay with the Kentucky Derby. It's just the undercard races. I'm gonna blame the off racetrack and the soft turf. How about that?
That's
Okay, fair, yep.
That's absolutely fair.
It's probably not accurate, but at least it's fair. So we're going to get a ton of rain, as you guys pointed out, or maybe that was before we started. The forecast is terrible for the rest of the week. Maybe Saturday might be okay, but the turf course is going to be really soft, and the racetrack is probably going to be muddy. And there's a horse in the Galleret by the name of Three Havanas. The Galleret, I think, is the first race we do on I think it's USA or maybe it's CNBC when we come on the air on Saturday. I think it's the 7th race on the card. Fillies and mares on the turf. It'll be soft turf. There's a filly, Three Havanas, who comes from Germany. She's never run in the U.S. before. And in Europe, they run horses on soft turf a lot more regularly than they do in the United States, and they typically have an edge coming over here on soft turf. So I think Three Havanas is a pretty good play. And then there's a horse in the race right before the Preakness. It's a race called the Dinner Party. It used to be called the Dixie until political correctness caused Pimlico to change the name of the race. So the Dinner Party, there's a horse in the race named Neat, just one word, Neat. And he is a pretty neat horse, but he had a horrible ride in his last start. They changed jockeys. He's a pretty nice horse anyway. He only got beat 2 lengths despite the horrible ride. He's 8-1 in the program. And it's not a super tough field. And so I think Neat's a pretty good play at that price.
Okay. And then the Preakness.
The Preakness, look, journalism is the horse to beat. No doubt about it, right? If all things being equal, journalism is the fastest horse in the race. He ran a really good race in the Kentucky Derby. He just got outrun by Sovereignty. He was a strong second. But all things aren't equal because journalism has had 2 or 3 really tough races in a row now, including the Derby, which was a really tough race. And he comes back in just 2 weeks. Usually in those situations, the horses might still run well, but probably usually not quite as well as they did in the Kentucky Derby. And there's another horse in the race called Clever Again, trained by Steve Asmussen, who might be the 3rd favorite, maybe the 4th favorite. Who knows? But he's got speed. He's coming off a really strong race. He's had plenty of rest. He didn't run in the Kentucky Derby. And, he might be a good play, I think, to take a shot against journalism on the theory that even though journalism is the best horse, that he might not perform quite as well in the Preakness as he did in the Derby.
Okay, so journalism and Clever Again. Those would be your 2 picks.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else that we should sprinkle in if we're looking at a trifecta?
Well, let's see. There's a horse called River Thames, trained by Todd Pletcher, who did not run in the Kentucky Derby simply because they wanted to wait and save him for the Preakness Stakes. He's not really a 1.25 mile type horse. He was only beaten 3/4 of a length by Sovereignty when he ran in the Fountain of Youth a couple of races back. So he's a pretty nice horse. And then there's a horse that as a long shot, you might want to throw into your exactas and your supers. His name is Heart of Honor. He came from England by way of the UAE Derby. He's the kind of horse that he's probably not good enough to run first or second, but he's going to come from behind. He's going to be finishing decently, and that's oftentimes the recipe for a long shot to kind of sneak up into the top 3 or 4 at the end as some of the speed horses start to fade out.
Okay, so despite the fact that Sandman is a beautiful horse, as we've just seen, you're not putting him in anything.
I'm not really high on Sandman just because I didn't like his Kentucky Derby, really. He was right next to Sovereignty when they ran into the second turn. Everything looked like it was perfect for him, and then Sovereignty just left him behind. I mean, he was probably side by side with Sovereignty going into the turn and maybe 7 lengths behind him when they turned for home.
Counterpoint, though, he looks locked in. He's just he looks locked in right now. He's facing the corner. Remember when Michael Phelps raced in the Olympics when they saw him and he was like, just dialed in next to the pool before he went out? That's what Sandman reminds me of right now. Just all right,
business. Let's take one more look at him there.
Okay,
there he is.
He's playing with the ball.
Hey, Sandman.
Sandman, you locked in, buddy?
He's locked in.
That horse is dialed.
His ears just moved when you asked him that question. That's a good sign.
He's locked in. I have a dumb question, Randy. When they travel with the horses from Louisville to Baltimore for the Preakness, when I do a road trip, I stop, I get snacks, get some pretzels, get some candy. Do they do any special snacks for the horses when they take if whoever's driving the car has to take a piss? Do they hey horse, here's a special snack for the road trip? Combos? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know they have a hay rack for the horses, to munch on and all that while they're on the road, while they're in the van, and they got plenty of water to drink to keep from being dehydrated and all that. And if they do have to stop and take a piss or maybe go through the McDonald's drive-through window or something like that, I'm sure they go back there and check on the horse. That's really for longer van trips than just Louisville to Baltimore. But I mean, there have been plenty of situations where, they've had to pull over and go to find a parking lot somewhere and take a break and check on the horse and everything. Yeah, pretty interesting.
When we're talking about the German and the Japanese horses, do they ever fly? Has anybody ever flown a horse? Is that even possible?
What, fly horses?
Yeah,
they do it all the time.
They fly the horse. Yeah, I just assumed that you put them on a boat.
Yeah, no. They have there's airlines that were dedicated strictly to flying racehorses around the world and around the country. Now they FedEx the horses.
They put a shipping label on them?
Seriously, they FedEx horses. There used to be a company called Flying Tiger that specialized in transporting livestock, animals, zoo animals, back and forth, racehorses, you name it, circus animals. And FedEx bought Flying Tiger, and now FedEx is in the business of occasionally transporting animals. And when they ship a horse from California to the Kentucky Derby, they often FedEx them.
Do you know if the horses have a window that they can look out of? Because I imagine that would be very confusing.
Horses do not have a window. They hollow out the entire, obviously, inside. They put stalls in there. You can actually fly up to, I think, 15 horses maybe on a plane.
That's
a party.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And they have handlers in there with them, back flying with the horses to watch them and take care of them and calm them down if there's any turbulence and make sure that the horses are okay. The stalls are very small, so so they can't, be knocked around if there's any turbulence or anything. But horses generally handle that air travel very, very well. You'd be surprised.
Wow. Yeah. Has a horse ever been put on a no-fly list if they acted up on the play? Like they get nervous when they're flying?
Yeah. Horses from the Middle East maybe get put on the no-fly list.
No-fly list.
Yeah. All right, Randy, I got one last question for you. It's a Roback question. RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE, 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com, promo code TAKE. I've done a terrible job in the 9 years that we've known you. I have not introduced you correctly.
Really?
I didn't. Well, you're a Hall of Famer. You're in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame. So I have a couple questions. Is that you are, right?
No, I'm not in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame.
All right, well, I saw an interview that someone did, and they called you a Hall of Famer. You should be. All right, fine. You should be in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame. What do we have to do to get you in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame? And then once you're in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame, what is it like? Instead of a gold jacket, is it like a golden saddle? How does it work?
The Horse Racing Hall of Fame is in Saratoga Springs. It's almost right across the street from Saratoga Racecourse. Fantastic place if you ever want to visit. And I think they do have a wing, like a media wing, right? I think of the Joe Hirsch Media Roll of Honor or something like that. And so, yeah, some people that I know really well that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or in that particular wing of the Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's ever something that I'll be in, but yeah, it would be kind of cool, I guess.
You need to be in. I looked up, like, whenever we have a guest on, I'll just see, like, if there's any recent stories. And you did a Baltimore Positive podcast a day ago, or it might have been today, or it might have been earlier this morning. And the host introduced you. It says, Randy Moss, a horse racing Hall of Famer, reflects on his 40 years at Pimlico. So now it's on the internet. Now you're in the Hall of Fame.
If I heard that, I would have corrected. That must have been Nestor. Yeah, Nestor Aparicio. Yeah.
So you're in. So I think we're just going to say you're in the horse race. You're in our horse racing Hall of Fame.
Oh, and I didn't even bring my recurring guest shirt. That's very nice to say.
I'm thinking that what happened was they got a mix-up, and when they were doing their research on you, they looked up the other Randy Moss, and then they saw Hall of Fame in like just a headline, didn't click on the article, and they're like, oh, Randy's in the Hall of Fame. You are in our Hall of Fame.
We're going to do a plaque because actually, so this episode on Friday, we also had Mike Miller, who won 2 NBA titles on the show, and we were talking to him about how he's the best athlete from South Dakota. We said we put up a plaque in the studio that says Mike Miller, best athlete from South Dakota. Next to that plaque is going to say Randy Moss, Horse Racing Hall of Fame. We're going to have a whole little corner of the studio.
Okay. Send me a picture of that plaque when you get it up there, will you?
Okay, perfect.
So it says it was established in 2010 to recognize individuals whose careers have been dedicated to or substantially involved in writing about thoroughbred racing, nonfiction, and who distinguish themselves as journalists.
That's you.
You were writing about this stuff when you were 12 years old, Randy.
Yeah. Who do we contact? Who can we contact? We need to start. Like, I want to get a vote. Let's get a vote.
I'm trying to see. I'm looking at the criteria for the Joe Hirsch, the media honor roll.
I'm going to Saratoga later this summer. I'm gonna go to the Horse Racing Hall of Fame, and I'm gonna like drop off a packet of being like, this is the guy. How have we not done this? I will not rest.
It's a great injustice.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about Pete Rose the other day, finally being allowed in. Like Randy Moss, it's not a legitimate Hall of Fame if Randy Moss isn't in it.
Well, it's certainly not a legitimate Hall of Fame if Pete Rose is not in it. Absolutely there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a giant injustice.
We're gonna find out, and we're gonna have the AWLs just spam the Horse Racing Hall of Fame, and be like, let Randy in.
Actually, Pete Rose should also be in the Horse Racing Hall of Fame.
Yes, I agree.
You're right. He's probably contributed more to the sport than a lot of guys.
Yeah, maybe get you guys both in there together.
Yeah,
what a class that would be.
I actually hung out with him at a racetrack one time. The guy knew how to play the horses. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, Randy, thank you as always. You're the best, and we'll talk. Hopefully, we'll talk to you in a couple weeks when we have Sovereignty back in action for the Belmont.
All right, guys. Take care. Good talking to you as always.
Randy Moss is brought to you by Part of My Cheesesteak. We're in for a great sports week with the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, and full slates of baseball. And ordering Part of My Cheesesteak for your game day meal or late night eats is the best play call you can make. Part of My Cheesesteak offers a wide variety of cheesesteaks, loaded fries, and popular desserts, all delivered right to your door so you don't have to miss any of the action on your couch. Pick your favorite cheesesteak made with thin sliced steak, melted provolone, mouth-watering cheese sauce, and caramelized onions on a toasted hoagie roll. Or you can order the popular Big Cat Combo with your choice of cheesesteak, fries, and a drink. Go to partofmycheesesteak.com to order with code PMC20 for 20% off.
Okay, let's wrap up. We've got Fyre Fest of the week. Hank?
Yeah. Not much. Great week.
What?
Mm-hmm. No, Hank's right.
Yeah, PFT, it's like
you're dominating.
You will your team to a Game 5 win.
You're dominating life. It feels good.
At home.
Especially when some haters say that you can't do it.
Yeah, there's nothing better. We're in the same spot. My really only Fyre Fest was I was in Boston at the game. I missed our softball game, and I missed being with the boys. But we won, so all good.
Put softball aside for a second. Jason Tatum's not a Fyre Fest?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what? Am I going crazy right now?
No, this is what I'm saying about Hank.
He's like, yeah, I had a great week.
I
like,
guess,
dude,
I forgot. Yeah.
You know what it is? It's because Hank's had so much. He's been spoiled with success in the past so much that
I'm not worried about the offseason.
You're used to having every delusional thing that you think in your wildest dreams about your sports teams actually coming true. So whenever something good happens, you're like, yeah, I'm back.
He won one game and he was like, yeah, Jason Tatum's not even injured anymore.
Yeah, it's basically the Patriots dynasty all over again.
You guys know it's procrastination, it's denial. It's
true.
Like
That's
I'm not.
fair.
I said it's like I am so locked in on this series until it's over because everything that comes with the offseason is sadness. And yeah, it was 2 days of just sad thoughts. But again, those problems are being pushed indefinitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you did miss a really good softball game and a great vibes night. Sucks.
You guys keep saying that in a kind of condescending way, and that's all right.
Well, it was
Feels like when you're like
all-time vibes.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
kind of the Jason Tatum of our team.
Big Cat came to post beers.
I came to post beers.
I know. I saw that. That's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy for the Pugs. I'm happy for the team.
I got hit on, and my wife didn't believe me.
I find it
It's
interesting
bullshit.
that the softball recap is like 10 times longer this week than it was last week. That's just interesting.
Well, I wasn't at the game. Neither was Max.
Hank wasn't at the game this week.
We talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just interesting.
I would have
We've been talking about
if I
it for
was at the
1
game.
minute.
It was just
We've only gone for like 45 seconds.
It was just an interesting point. Just a data point.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a data point.
How was your softball game? You played, right? You showed up for the team.
No, the hammy hurts. Yeah.
Oh, why wouldn't you talk about your game?
I was
Hockey
told
tough.
load management.
Your
Hockey
game,
tough.
your recap is a lot shorter this week
Like
than last
Ovi,
week.
yeah.
It's 23-2. We won. It's okay.
But you weren't there.
I wasn't there, but that's all right.
It's hard to.
I
recap
want my
when
boys
you're
to win even when I'm not there.
there. Yeah. Same with Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want them to win so bad. That's the worst part of my week was just not being there with the boys because apparently it was so much fun. But it would have been just as fun if I was there, right? Obviously.
We
They're all scared of you.
What does that mean?
They all think. They said that to me. They're like, Hank scares us. He's our boss. I was like, he is.
You should be scared of Hank.
Yeah, you should be scared of Hank. All right, your Fyre Fest, PFT?
Well, it's just going to be that.
I will say last week someone said Big Cat's out here. We can drink beers. I don't know. I wasn't me, but
Oh, who said that?
I'm going to guess Max.
No, Max
I
wasn't there. Who said that?
I don't. I'm not gonna say.
You can drink beers at softball.
All
You
the
can't be
boys-
wasted at softball because then it's just not fun to
I
just
agree.
make errors. and
I
shit.
agree. I fully agree.
Having a beer or two, that does loosen you up.
It also
That's
might have
all
been
good.
our manager, so it even really doesn't matter.
Got it.
Pug?
No, Quiggs. Quiggs is taking his coach. He's coach.
Quiggs is the MVP of our
Also,
team.
Quiggs
doesn't
brought a
play.
TV to the game. I didn't even know that existed.
Respect.
That's sick.
It was a portable TV. I'd never seen that. So
Respect.
awesome. What's your Fyre Fest?
It was going to be that the Commanders have a bunch of primetime games and a bunch of standalone games, which sucks, and I'm not super pumped about, but already talked about that. So I think my Fyre Fest is just going to be that there's a lot of talk about the NFL doing something to us that they should absolutely not do. And I'm worried that it's going to gain momentum. It's Mike Greenberg's dumb rules. Greeny yesterday, he had just seen the NBA draft lottery, and he was like, the NFL should do this. It would be an event. You could make a lot of money off it, Goodell. I don't think it's a good idea, but I do think that Goodell hears the words like national television event that we don't have, and he thinks about it.
Yeah.
Because he's very good at making money for the league. It would be terrible for the NFL. It'd be terrible.
So what's the rule they're saying?
To implement a draft lottery
Yeah.
for the NFL. Number one, it's harder to tank in the NFL because they don't have guaranteed contracts. So at the end of the
Yeah.
season, even if you're playing backups, they're playing as hard as they possibly can to try to get another contract or get paid next year. So it's less likely that a team actually is able to tank effectively. And number two, it would suck for the teams that are actually terrible, that don't have a quarterback. What would happen would be they would get screwed out of getting the number one pick, and then they would have to trade a shitload of their picks to move up to number one to get a quarterback, and then that quarterback would stink because you don't have any weapons for your quarterback because you trade away all your picks to get him.
Yeah.
It's a
Stupid.
bad idea, Greeny.
Stupid.
Bad idea.
Yeah, the tanking doesn't happen in the NFL. Like it doesn't.
Once in a while, like the Browns at the end of last year, where they just
It's like a week 17, 18 problem at all.
Yeah.
Like it's not more than that. Remember the Giants won a game last season, late in the season, right?
DeVito.
Was DeVito last year? No, it was DeVito was 2 years ago. What was the game they won?
Drew Lock.
Yeah. Who'd they beat? Memes.
Was it the Titans?
It was the Colts.
Yeah, that's right. The Colts game. Yeah, in New York. Yeah, like and that fucked them up.
But yeah,
and Giants fans were pissed, but like they're still trying.
It's basically impossible to put on a full tank in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's very tough to pull off. But Greeny's a wild boy for this one. Greeny, just slow down.
Dumb roll.
Slow your roll, Greeny. I don't want to. Nobody wants this in the NFL.
No, absolutely not. All right, my Fyre Fest is I just have Sphere withdrawal. I just wish I was back there. It's like, I'm like Sphere.
You say severe?
Sphere.
What if we build one here?
I would like that. Room? I'm like the Avatar people who saw it and then got depressed because they weren't like the blue creatures. When I leave the Sphere, it takes me a while to readjust. Like nothing. The flowers don't smell as sweet. Conversations are boring to me. I just want to be tripping my balls off in a concert in the Sphere.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that chemically the dopamine has been sucked from your brain from the mushrooms?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's severe Sphere.
It's the Sphere. I just need the Sphere. I need to be back. If I could live in it, I would. Unfortunately, I can't. Maybe someday.
Maybe build one here. Minisphere.
Minisphere would rock. A personal Sphere would rock.
If we moved this show to San Diego, you'd be so close to the Sphere. Hank?
I don't know where that came from, but I like it. I like it a lot. I like where your head's at, Max. That's a great point. You didn't answer that.
It wasn't a question.
How much did the
No,
Sphere
it's a
cost?
great point. You didn't comment on it.
I don't need to comment on every great point.
But it was a great point. You can admit that.
No, I'm repeating you right now. It was a point.
A great one.
It was a point.
A valid, wise point.
It was only $2.3 billion.
Oh. Dude, that's like
2.3 million to 100x downsize.
Imagine 2 point. What's 2?
Yeah, it's 1,000x. That was a good correction.
So $2.3 billion is 4.6 billion. No,
Canadian dollars?
Pesos?
No. I'm trying to do the math of how many cavalanches that is. I can't do the math.
Let's see. $1 billion would equal
2,000.
2,000 cavalanches.
Is that right?
Is it
500K times 2,000?
I think we're in a world of hurt right now with our math. I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
500K times
1E9.
Yeah, that's 1.9
billion.
A million is
what's one?
No, 1 billion is
it's
one.
It's 1,000 million.
Yeah. So it would be 4,000 cavalanches.
It's 2,000. We were right. 1
Yeah,
point or
2,000.
whatever. 25.
Yeah. So then it would be
2,200.
4,000 and some more because it's 2 point whatever billion. One sphere equals like
So it'd be like
5,000 cavalanches.
No, 2,500.
No.
Yes.
Because it's
No,
2.3 billion.
Yes.
1 billion is 2,000 cavalanches. 2 billion.
No.
What?
500.
So dumb.
It's not as dumb as the Mt Rushmore
Hank,
schedule.
500,000 times 2 is 1 million.
No.
What then?
yes.
Tell us. You're like keeping
People
the
are just
secret from us.
smashing the 15-second right now. Fast.
All right, whatever. You guys are right.
No,
I'm not
thank
getting. I'm
you.
not getting into math. I don't know if you're right, but I'm not. I don't even know what the fuck is an E. Like, why are E? 1.15 E9? Like,
Hank, let me ask you this: what's 500,000 plus 500,000?
I don't know, man.
1 million.
It's 1 million. How many millions are in a billion?
1,000.
There's 1,000.
So there's 2,500,000s.
Yes,
In a billion.
So there's 2,000 cavalanches in
a
$1
billion.
billion.
Yep, agreed.
So then there's 4,000.
Agreed.
And 2 billion.
Fully
Yeah.
agree.
And then some change.
Yeah,
And then you got cavalanches left over.
Yeah, we're looking at like 4,270
Avalanche machines
Yep.
Yeah.
across the country.
Great job all
For the
around.
Sphere.
Let's
Yeah.
do numbers.
Error by the pitcher.
All right. Numbers.
6.
Whoa.
Knicks and 6.
7.
Knicks and
3.
Oh.
For the rhyme scheme.
Wow. Memes.
5.
The formula is Knicks and 6. If we get to 7,
Canes and
72.
5 for game 5.
72.
9 or 9 puck.
46. 21.
So wait, you have 3, 6, 5, 7.
Celtics and 7.
I have
Knicks and
72.
6. Canes and 5.
No, it's a game 5 for game 5 tonight.
That was mean, Hank.
It's not that mean.
64.
Damn.
64 for the Internet Invitational, which we didn't get invited to.
Love you guys.